we don't want to make most of the country jealous, but it's 80 degrees here in Oakland. A magnificent night for baseball. The Boston Red Sox and the Oakland A's rematch of last Sunday. Two great starters, Clemens and Stewart's, went at it. One run was scored in the ball game, and it came in the first inning. Ricky Henderson was on at second base. Wade Boggs went over to cover the bag, right in the position where he would have been. Henderson came around to score, and after that, it was just a pitching duel. 1-0, Oakland won it. Stewart, the strikeouts, 3 of them against Dwight Evans. You won't do that very often. And when you get to the late innings for the Oakland A's, it's Dennis Eckersley. He came on to wrap it up, and they got the victory. Tonight, these two teams and those two pitchers will go at it again. Hello, everybody. Gary Thorne and Norm Hitzges, and welcome to Oakland. Great to have you with us for the second game of our doubleheader on this Friday night here on ESPN. And what a great matchup we have tonight, Norm, for this game.
Roger Clemens and Dave Stewart are two of the very best pitchers in all of baseball right now, and they've been that for a long time. These two, over the last 3+ seasons, have dynamite records. If you extend it back from the start of 1986, Gary, these are the two winningest pitchers in Major League Baseball from '86 on. But Clemens has terrible trouble in his park. He's never won here, and he's 2-7 against Oakland.
And he has great trouble against Stewart. We'll talk about that as we move along in the game as well. The Boston Red Sox made a trade today. It had been discussed for a long time. Morgan's got the hitter he wanted.
I know women who've been pregnant who delivered babies sooner than Lee Smith was traded when they wanted to trade him. He's been on the block now seemingly for half a year. They send him to the St. Louis Cardinals for Tom Brunansky. Bruno's not here tonight, but when he gets here, he'll be the right fielder. Dwight Evans will be the full-time DH, and the Cardinals finally got the reliever they wanted for Whitey Herzog, Big Lee.
And our starting pitchers for tonight's game, the Rocket, Roger Clemens, and Dave Stewart, the MVP of the World Series. The starting lineups when we come back. It is beautiful here in Oakland, and a big crowd will be on hand tonight. The Oakland A's coming home after a very successful 7-2 road trip. They have won 4 in a row. They'll take on the Boston Red Sox, who've been pretty hot themselves. They've won 7 out of their last 10. Here's our Sears diehard starting lineup for the Boston Red Sox tonight. Wade Boggs will be leading it off. He'll be playing at third base, 9-game hit streak for him. Jody Reed will be the shortstop tonight. Mike Greenwell will be in left field. Dewey Evans will bat cleanup. He'll be the designated hitter. Red hot Tony Pena, revitalized, doing the catching. Ellis Burks will be in center field. Bill Buckner, the left-handed hitter, gets the start at first. Danny Heap, another left-handed hitter, gets the start in right. And batting ninth in the lineup, Marty Barrett, the second baseman. Roger Clemens will be on the mound. Defensively for the A's, it'll be left to right. The Hendersons, 2, Ricky and Dave. Canseco in right field. The infield, Carney Lansford, Walt Weiss, Mike Gallego, and Mark McGuire. Terry Steinbach will do the catching, and 33-year-old Dave Stewart is on the mound.
One of the true horses in Major League Baseball. Stewart has won at least 20 games the last 3 seasons, and yet in that time, he's never won a Cy Young Award. He was, however, the MVP in the World Series. Last year, he was the first man to ever win 2 games in an American League Championship Series, and then 2 more games in the World Series. He comes in tonight riding a 5-game win streak this season, and if you count the playoffs and late last regular season, he's won 11 in a row. He's a fastball, forkball pitcher who'll mix an occasional curve. The one thing you can always say about Dave Stewart, if you want to go out for dinner and come back in an hour and a half or 2, there's a good chance you can still see him.
He'll probably be on the mound pitching. They'll have a full house here tonight, and the weather couldn't have cooperated more. We know a lot of the nation's a lot of rain. As we go along tonight, our Baseball Tonight studios will update you on scores, but there'll be a lot of non-scores. Very light breeze here under clear skies, blowing right now from left to right, which is normal here. A very open ballpark with the senior umpire, Dave Phillips. He's the crew chief behind the plate. The only umpire who has his initials on his cap, Al Clark, the American League umpire. John Hirschbeck and Larry McCoy as the umpiring crew for tonight. So I hope you'll settle back and enjoy. The Red Sox took 2 out of 3 in Boston last weekend against the Oakland A's. Boston starts a very big early in the season West Coast trip. They'll play 12 games on the road, the 3 teams out west here, and then they'll go to Kansas City before they go home. So here we go. Stewart and Clemens, Boggs and Stewart against one another to kick it off. And he's got the strike on the outside corner.
As much of a fastball pitcher that Dave Stewart is, he's never struck Wade Boggs out in 33 appearances against him.
Boggs hits him pretty well. He's 10 for 33 against Stewart lifetime, and he comes in, Boggs does, with a 9-game hit streak under his belt. Stewart's 5-0, looking for number 6 as he continued his magnificent month of April. April's been a month where he just can't lose. There you see the numbers we were talking about. The 1-2. Inside out to left. Ricky. That ball's carrying. And that's not unusual. Early in the game here at Oakland Alameda County Stadium, that ball will carry, which is one of the few times in a game where you can get a home run here. This ballpark's fair. The dimensions here symmetrical. 330 down the lines, 375 in the gaps, and 400 to straightaway center. But it is not a ballpark where you hit a lot of home runs.
No, what isn't fair about this ballpark is foul territory. It's enormous. You could graze 300 head of sheep in foul territory in this park, and they'd never go hungry.
And it's all the way down until you get to the corners. You have that room. There's a liner to center field. It'll be played by Dave Henderson on one hop as Jody Reed, he's got a stinging bat, delivers the first hit of the game, getting the single off Stewart with one down here in the first inning. How about this guy's numbers thus far?
Tell you what, Jody Reed, he just keeps getting better and better and better. He's a sort of a poor man's right-handed Wade Boggs. He just puts bat on ball. He isn't a hitter, Boggs is, but he's a tough out, and he's moved from number 9 to number 2 in this order.
He's hitting over 300 now, up around 310 with that base hit he picks up right there. Mike Greenwell, one of the ball players that everybody wanted when you started talking pitching deals. He and Ellis Burks. See the numbers for him. Greenwell has an 8-game hit streak going as he comes into tonight's game. McGuire holding at first on Jody Reed.
You know what I've never figured out, Gary? Why in the world would you trade Mike Greenwell?
They didn't.
I know, but
you're absolutely right. There's no reason to trade him, so they didn't. No matter who they're going to get for a starting pitcher. I guess if you put Stewart and Welch or something in a package, maybe you trade him, but that's about it. Reed being held at first.
Did it surprise you that Burks and Greenwell's names kept coming up? They're such fine young players.
No, everyone was trying to rob the Red Sox. I mean, that was that simple. The other GMs are calling saying you need pitching. Give us 2 great stars or give us one of them. Foul up. 1 and 2. No, it didn't surprise me the names came up. This guy's hitting 320 lifetime for Mike Greenwell, who is just 26 years old. You have got a premier left-handed hitter. A very rare commodity in baseball these days. 1-2. Batting pool, they missed.
Dave Stewart lifetime is 8-5 against Boston, and Clemens is 2-7 against Oakland, but 4 of the decisions on each side, Stewart has beaten Clemens 4 times.
Yeah, the great matchup, though, that it works out that way for baseball fans. 2-2. Reed will be bluffed back. Boston stolen only 7 bases this season. They are 7 for 13, never known as a running club. No stolen bases for Reed, who's on there right now at first. 1 down. 2-2. We'll do it again.
2 of the last 4 times Clemens and Stewart have matched up. The final was 1-0. And Stewart, his last 4 times out against the Red Sox, has given them a total of 5 runs. You know, you look at Clemens' record 2-7, you say, gee, he has trouble with Oakland. Then you look at the ERA and you realize he's being outpitched. He's not being banged around by this team.
2-2, and that's quite a statement for the Red Sox because they can hit 3 balls, 2 strikes. The Red Sox, of course, had Walt Reniak as their batting instructor, who's now with the White Sox. Reniak's moved the White Sox up. Joe Morgan, you see right there, doesn't have him on his coaching staff anymore. Boggs misses him, says so publicly. Richie Hebner, a much-loved player by the Boston players, is their hitting instructor now.
Reed going to go?
3-2, 1 away, he's going. Line drive, base hit into left field. Ricky Henderson over to get it. Reed's on his way to third. Henderson slips and falls down. Nobody will advance an extra base. Lansford takes the throw over a diving Reed. So the Red Sox have runners at first and third as Ricky Henderson slipped as he tried to make the turn. He did a good job to prevent the ball from going by him.
Ball batting.
Greenwell scorches this ball over Carney Lansford's glove. And the surprising thing here is not that Reed stops at third, it's that Greenwell is still at first. Because Henderson's got to come to the lead runner here.
If he goes to second, he's in there.
Yes.
After the fact, we can say that.
Yeah, it's easy up here.
It's easy after the fact.
Free coffee,
right.
hot dogs after the third inning. You know, it's...
All right, here's Dewey Evans. And Stewart, who has struck out 14 in 34 innings, needs to get one. Evans, a good clutch hitter, the DH tonight. Infield playing back for two. And he'll miss inside. Stewart goes behind on the count. 2 balls and no strikes.
Over the years, Dave Stewart's been very tough to get in the first inning. Over the last 4 years, his earned run average in the first inning is about 3, and that's excellent because a lot of pitchers have first inning trouble. An earned run average in the first inning of 3 is a good solid starter.
Foul back. And Evans got the pitch he wanted right there. He fouled it off, and the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike with 1 down. Reed on at third base, and Mike Greenwell, who got that single, is on at first. Greenwell has extended his hit streak to 9 games, so both he and Wade Boggs have 9-game hit streaks now. Reed's got a lot of room to get off third base here with the infield playing back. 2-1. That had some seed on it.
Important first inning for the Red Sox because you look at the stat sheet and you see that Oakland is 13-0 when they score first. Important for the Red Sox to jump out.
Evans, one of 3 Red Sox with 13 RBIs, leading the club. Pena and Reed the other 2. The 2-2. Boy, he's blistering Steinbach Smith with those 2 pitches. Those were 2 hard fastballs. He's trying to strike out Evans.
Well, he got him 3 times Sunday, but the other time Evans got a ground rule double off it.
There's Tony La Russa. Last 3 years going into this one, the most successful manager. Runner goes at first. Popped up, no play. So they sent Greenwell on the 3-2 pitch with 1 down, trying to stay out of that double play. Gunn had Stewart at 88 miles an hour on that last come to the plate.
You know, you think of Greenwell as a guy who can really bang the ball around the lot, but the unnoticed part about Greenwell's game is he can run. He's stolen 29 bases the last 2 years, and he's had some leg problems during that time. 3-2
again by Stewart. And there is a good piece of hitting. Evans just fought off about as fine a pitch as Stewart can throw. That was down and away, tailing away from Evans.
And that time Greenwell does not run. Let's see what Joe Morgan's feeling is here.
3-2, 1 out. It's a great battle right here. This is what the game's all about. You get a hitter like Dwight Evans, a veteran, and a pitcher like Stewart, and you've got one of those classic confrontations in baseball. This is one-on-one, mano-a-mano.
And Gary, in a game where 1 run could very easily be the difference.
Yeah. That's why Morgan's trying to stay out of that double play when he ran Greenwell. 3-2. Evans not deep, tagging up Reed. Henderson coming. Test to play it on the hop. Reed will score, and it's a 1-0 Red Sox lead. Designated hitter Dwight Evans delivers the bloop center, and he earned it by fighting off those pitches. His 14th run batted in. Greenwell stops at second base.
Dave Henderson did not get a very good break on this ball. He seemed to break sideways and then come in, and that 1 or 1.5 step of hesitation here in twilight costs Henderson the chance to catch the pop fly.
And a good point, Norm. Twilight here in Oakland is a very tough time for the outfielders, and it stays twilight for a long time. The summer rolls along. Look at that cut taken by Tony Pena. Talk about a revised ball player. Here's one right here. It's talking with Tony before the game. Pena would have been signed by Whitey Herzog again if Pena had wanted. Herzog wanted him in St. Louis. Pena said, nope, time's up. I really want to move somewhere else. What's he done? 4th in the league in hitting, batting .367. He's throwing people out. He's still got that great arm behind the plate. He's a veteran ball player, 32 years old now, and gives this young pitching staff a really veteran catcher to throw to. Off the handle, McGuire to second. They got the double play. Weiss mistake. You can't do that. Greenwell gets taken off at second to end a potential big inning. Boston up by 1. Starting lineup for the 16-5 Oakland A's, the best in the game right now. Ricky Henderson will lead it off. Carney Lansford will be playing third base. Jose Canseco in right. Steinbach cleanup doing the catching. Dave Henderson in center. Mark McGuire at first. Felix Jose will be the designated hitter for tonight's game. Walter Weiss the shortstop. And number 9 will be Mike Diego, the second baseman. And defensively, for the Red Sox in the outfield, Greenwell, Burks, and Heath. Boggs, Reed, Barrett, and Bill Buckner at first base. Tony Pena doing the catching, and his battery mate is the Rocket, 27-year-old right-hander Mr. Clemens.
And the Rocket's heat is back. Clemens last year fell off a little bit. He went up nearly a walk per game. His hits went up about a half a hit per game. His strikeouts fell a little bit because he had some arm problems. But this year, it looks like the heat is back. Look at the strikeouts per innings. Look at the low number of walks. And only a 1-0 loss to Dave Stewart last Sunday keeps Roger Clemens from being 5-0. Fastball, curveball, slider, and forkball. The nasty thing about Clemens is he's getting closer and closer to perfecting the forkball. And if he has the high rider and the forkball on the same inning, God help the children.
And how about the play that ended the inning? If you're Mike Greenwell at second base, you got to have your head down a little on this one.
Greenwell gets off, takes a couple of steps toward third and freezes, and that's what kills it. You've gotta respect that ball being caught. If that ball hits him short right, Greenwell still scores on that play. That step could have been the difference between the next hitter getting a hit and driving in a run. And again, this is a game that figures to finish 2-1, 3-2, something of that sort.
That's right. And you had Ellis Burks, who's been hitting well, on deck. Here's Ricky Henderson, 41 home runs as a leadoff batter. Roger Clemens against him.
Oh.
And the mustard seed is right there, a high strike to Henderson.
Yeah, but just wait till he gets loose.
Jugs gun read him at 89 on that first pitch of the game for Clemens. Henderson first in runs, 6th in average, first in stolen bases in the league as he comes in with that .338 average. Ricky with 12 stolen bases now to lead the league. And Henderson with that on-base percentage that continues to be up there. He and Canseco both with outstanding on-base percentages early this season. Phew. Tony Pena sitting down on his legs, almost got knocked down, and Ricky right there is just looking out with great respect. Jugs gun had him at 90 on that third pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Canseco looking, and the check swing jammed him inside. Clemens, one of those pitchers, like some hitters in baseball, when he's working, the other Major League Baseball players in the park sit and watch. They don't talk, they don't move around, they don't go back to the clubhouse, they watch. 1-2. Ricky lines it to center. Burks in, diving. He did not get it. Short hop. And Henderson's got a single.
I was just about to say, the most amazing thing it seems about Clemens is that this guy's never pitched a no-hitter. 1 hitter, bunch of 2 hitters. Short hop, nice play by Burks keeping it in front of him. But understand something about Henderson. He's a killer when he gets out in the first inning. This is where Oakland tries to jump on you. Henderson's led off a game by getting on this year 8 times. 6 of those times he scored in the first inning.
And here's that great bat behind him, Carney Lansford, who can move it anywhere you want. Ooh, he almost got him. He did. He hit him. It nicked the arm. And Carney Lansford is on, and the A's trailing 1-0 in the bottom of the first have an inning started against Clemens.
Lansford may have to get treated for burns on this one. Oh, wait a minute. That hit anything in your eyeballs, Mr. Thorne?
Yeah, it hit the home plate umpire's eyeballs because he thought it hit him, and Dave Phillips made the call immediately. And there was no argument by anybody.
Does it hit the blouse? No. Doesn't look like it hit anything, does it?
Pena didn't argue, though.
I'll tell you what, he should get first base for just how frightening that is, though.
See your life go by on that one.
That's right.
All right, here's the big guy, Canseco. And speed on the base paths with Henderson and Lansford. That's the third hit batter this season by Roger Clemens. You see him backing out? You see that? Jose Canseco was leaning away. He won't do that on many pitchers. But after that inside job to Lansford, he was leaning away.
I tell you, Roger Clemens has a nasty streak. Roger Clemens believes the inner half of the plate is his.
He's of the early win variety. Oh, I got a part of the plate. Don't take it away from me. Anderson at second.
Canseco's already been on base 42 times this year.
1 ball, 1 strike, and that is Al Clark behind the plate. I want to apologize. They gave us a lineup in the umpires that was not correct. Al Clark's behind the plate. Bounced. Henderson will not go. Tony Pena. There's another great matchup. Tony Pena and anybody that wants to run, including Ricky Henderson. This guy, maybe 32 years old, but listen, he can still pump the baseball from behind the plate. He will challenge you to take off.
There's the fork, and Pena does a wonderful job of smothering it. Don't believe for a moment, though, that Henderson won't take off for third. In any kind of situation where he feels he has an advantage, Henderson loves to turn up the heat.
Barrett, the second baseman, is moving in on him. The 2-1, blistering heat, 2-2. 94 miles an hour in the jugs gun for Roger Clemens.
Well, last year, that was about tops for Clemens. And that's what worried the Red Sox a little. He used to get 97, 98 at times in his career. And he was down a couple of notches on the gun last year.
2-2, 2 on, nobody out. Roger Clemens is after his 100th career win tonight. He's 99-46 coming into tonight's game, and La Russa's hoping it won't be tonight. He wants to keep the game win streak alive. They won 4 in a row off that road trip. They have 9 games to play at home on this homestand. They've only played 7 games at home, 4-3 at home, 12-2 on the road.
Tell you what, if somebody doesn't start beating this team, they can make reservations.
Joe Morgan's club 12-9 now. They're 2.5 games out in the East. 2-2 again. They pick off. Henderson not far off the bag. Barrett moved over.
Canseco was out early today, taking a kind of strange batting practice. The pitcher of the batting practice was only 30 feet from him, snapping the ball in. He was trying to get his swing quickened.
Get to the ball in a hurry. And yes, he was behind the cage. People, don't worry. They
put a screen up there.
Henderson on 883 stolen bases as you look at number 24 on second base. 9 more to tie Cobb. To tie Cobb.
To tie?
Tie. 55 to Brock. And they'll have a talk as Pena wants to go out.
I think what the Red Sox are uncomfortable with here is that Ricky Henderson's fairly adept at swiping signs and relaying them. I think Pena just wants to go out and get comfortable with Clemens on what the set of signals is with a runner on second base.
Especially with these big guys up.
Yeah, a mistake here. And some people who paid $4 to get in scramble for the baseball.
Look at that. They are second in home runs. The A's are second to Toronto. The Red Sox way down the bottom. Not on the bottom. Fouled off by Canseco. But Boston in home runs in the league right now is 11th.
You know, Boston scores a lot of runs, but they don't hit an enormous number of homers. Same thing last year. They led this league in runs scored, but they didn't hit a lot of homers.
Their high batting average doesn't produce the kind of runs that it should. And they led the league last season. 2-2. Got him. Foul tipped into the mitt, and Pena hung on. So Clemens gets 1 big strikeout. Got him on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball right there.
High heat and inside. Jammed Canseco, and if you're ever going to get away with a pitch against Canseco, it's the freight train just above his hands on the inside corner. But then the list of people who can't handle that pitch would take up about 41 pages single-spaced in the big leagues.
It would take up most of the American League press guide.
Yes.
Here's Terry Steinbach. McGuire does not hit Clemens well, so Steinbach, for part of the reason, has been moved into the cleanup spot. He's got 2 on here with 1 away now. Red Sox will play for 2. And will Ricky run and try and create something right here? Henderson jigging around at second base. He has both Barrett and Reed close to him because they're squeezing the middle on Steinbach. They're playing Steinbach to go right up the middle with it.
Ricky also plays this little game of looking like he isn't going to run.
Nobody covering. You're going to see a lot of this with Henderson on base. As Norm says, when you can expect the score to be 1-0, you can't give up a base to anybody. Neither team can. You see Reed sneaking in. Tough job right here for Rene Lashman, the third base coach, and for Henderson. They've got to be together on this now because you've got both Reed and Barrett moving in towards second base. So Henderson will take one, either the shortstop or the second baseman, and watch him, and Lashman will watch the other and holler out to Ricky Henderson who's where to prevent that pickoff. 1 strike count. There we go again. Reed, the shortstop, moving in. This will give the fans who may have got on the BART a little late or got caught in traffic a chance to get in. They won't miss much of this game.
But see, this is what Henderson does to you. Clemens is concerned now. And one of the factors of Henderson is concentration breakage. He'll simply take a little bit away from the hitter and put it on him.
0-1. And a 2-strike count. Steinbach had a tough road trip. See right there, that's what he did on the road. Oh, 2. Clearly, Clemens and Pena both concerned that Henderson at second base may be able to pick up some signs here. You saw Roger give the rotation for go through the signs again with Tony Pena.
Take a look at this note on Roger Clemens. This is career-wise. He's gotten 10 or more strikeouts in a game 39 times. That's his personal record when he gets 10 or more. 30 and 2 with 7 no decisions. But that's a sign that the fastball's working.
0-2 again. He mixes it up like a high slider, just trying to get Steinbach to chase it. Didn't. 1 and 2. Morgan's talking to his right fielder, Danny Heap. 1-2. Got him.
Gary, remember what we talked about before when Clemens has the combination of fastball and forkball? How incredibly difficult he can be. Now he's just blown it. Now there's the forkball. And see, Steinbach starts to adjust, drops the hands, and he can't catch up with the pitch.
Batter's got to be saying, wait a minute.
Exactly right.
Isn't 94 miles an hour enough? Leadoff single by Henderson. Lansford hit by a pitch. They're still at first and second. Now there are 2 down and a chance for Clemens to strike the side out. No chance, folks. That ball was in the mitt.
You know, you look back at Clemens' career, and when he's healthy, he's had some nagging problems with his arm and with his shoulder. When he's healthy, he's been as unhittable as any man in the decade of the 80s.
Oh, guess what Henderson's going to see again?
Hey, Gary, these people are overmatched. I don't know if this is going to continue, but Oakland is simply overmatched right now. Now, the problem here is Henderson's gotten 2 high fastballs. Now does he come with the forkball?
Henderson's running. Got him. That's it. Straight heat. First two get on, and then Clemens strikes to the side out. After 1-0 Boston.
In Philadelphia, the Dodgers and the Phillies still rain delayed in the 6th inning, with Philadelphia leading at 5-3. And right now, let's check the American League in Seattle. The Baltimore Orioles on the road, and Pete Harnisch gives this one up to Greg Briley, who pulls it out to right center field. It winds up as a double. Harold Reynolds scores 1-0 as he scored at that point. Now it's 2-1.
Thank you, John. Beautiful Oakland Alameda County Stadium here in Oakland. That BART station just outside. Folks ride the Bay Area Rapid Transit and get off and walk in through the outfield gates. Stewart giving up the run in the first inning. Evans got the RBI. Burks, Buckner, and Heap. Ellis Burks. And the fastball is there. Strike two.
Remember now, it was Boston who gave up a run in the first inning to Oakland Sunday. That was the only run of the game.
Will we have a repeat in reverse?
We could with these two.
289 lifetime hitter Ellis Burks behind on the count. 1-2 now. Burks, like Boggs, has done well against Stewart. Almost exactly the same. Burks is 10 for 32. Boggs 10 for 33 coming into the game against Dave Stewart.
Yes.
1-2, just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Look at Stu. Stu peers out over the left field fence. That's Dave Stewart's way of saying, come on.
That's all he'll say. 2-2, took something off it, foul back. Dave Stewart will always be my hero after the World Series earthquake last year. 6 o'clock in the morning. For days on end, when they weren't playing, he went over to the highway that collapsed, the Nimitz Freeway,
yeah,
to help the rescue parties and just to be there for the families of those who were waiting, for those who were trapped in automobiles. He did it without publicity, asked for none, wanted none, and did it out of a sense of compassion for his fellow man. Popped him up short. Walt Weiss. Burks is retired, 1 away in the 2nd.
You know, several stories were written about Dave Stewart after that earthquake and the disaster and his role in the relief. And perhaps the quote that jumped out of it the most, Gary, to tell you what kind of a man he is. Some nights I didn't plan to be here, but when I couldn't get to sleep, I'd drive over and stand for an hour or two and then go home and I could get right to sleep.
He's a wonderful man.
He is a wonderful man.
Bill Buckner back in a Red Sox uniform facing Stewart. 1-0 count, 1 down.
You know what else, Gary? He's an honest man. Early in his career with the Dodgers, he knew Steve Howe was using cocaine, and he and Steve were friends. And he even tried to cover for him at times. And he now realizes he was an enabler. He's sorry that he did what he did for his friend, feeling he could have helped him.
Buckner fouling that one off, 1-2. The Raiders, will they play football here? Everybody thought they were going to.
That shirt's being sold in 6 cities.
They're not anymore.
Wait a minute, have you checked the late wire?
1-2 delivery. Billy Buck pops it up, a lot of room. Foul territory. Steinbach, Lansford. No dice. It's on top of the A's dugout. The fans up close got a souvenir on that one. How about the story on Buckner? The 86 World Series ball, playing for the Red Sox, goes away from the Red Sox, returns. He's wondering, the first time he plays at Fenway, what is it going to be like when I'm introduced back in a Red Sox uniform? He got a standing ovation.
You can go home again.
Yeah. 1-2. Ricky Henderson. You see he caught that with 2 hands. How about that? Two down here in the second inning. Let's go to John Saunders.
Luis Polonia, a Yankee a week ago, now a member of the California Angels, has his number back, number 22. Donnie Hill gave it up, and here he gives up a triple. Knocks it out to right center field off Dave LaPointe, would later score in the game as a leadoff man for the California Angels.
Trades. Two down here. Danny Heap, first ball hitting to second. Gallego makes it look easy. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Stewart. He'll go to the bottom half of the second inning with the Sox up 1-0.
ESPN Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Daihatsu. Since 1907, the small car specialist from Japan. By Extra Strength Bengay, sports medicine in a tube. By Olympic, these guys are smart. And by Kingsford, for long-burning charcoal that lights faster than any other. Start with the best. Kingsford, what the pros use.
Well, the question is it real or is it a satellite telescope? It's real. There's a moon out tonight. Who did it? 1961.
Uh-oh.
The Capris.
The Capris.
Hey! How we segue from the moon to a classic rock and roll hit. Here's Mark McGwire. Interesting number on he and Canseco I was just looking at. They have led the ball club in extra base hits in the month of April. 12. No doubles.
No.
No triples.
No.
Just home runs.
Yeah.
Five for Canseco and 7 have been picked up by the guy at the plate, McGwire. Those are their extra base hits. Clemens. 2-1.
Those are extra base hits.
Extra. You saw that 217 average McGwire has. Yet despite that, he's tied for first in home runs in the league right now. Right back here. Almost.
Oh!
So close to having a souvenir.
I was ready. Good position, on balance.
You reacted properly. You stood up, protected the play-by-play man. That's what's important here. You notice I didn't move. They froze us right here in the booth. 2-2.
Ooh, I tell you what, McGwire had a great rip at that ball. When you see a hitter foul a ball almost directly back, that means he had it timed. He just didn't have the equicenter.
And one of the reasons is that movement on Clemens' fastball. 2-2. Center field. Not as good as the fans made it sound. Ellis Burks is under it, makes the catch. McGwire's retired. Let's check in with our Baseball Tonight studios and John Saunders.
The Orioles down 2-1 to the Seattle Mariners. Steve Finley just reaches out, loops this one. Briley can't find the handle. Billy Ripken comes around easily to score and ties it at 2-2. They're now in the bottom of the second. Back to Gary and Norm.
Those Baltimore Orioles hoping to ignite the start they had last season. They didn't reach at the start of this year, but in this Eastern Division of the American League, it is clearly up for grabs again. Western Division with these A's playing the way they are at 16-5 may be another question.
Gary, I want you to take a look at Tony Pena. And I want the audience to be honest, the men in our audience. How many men in our audience can get into the position Pena gets in without severely damaging something?
For baseball?
Who knows for what? The man's amazing. He can do an almost perfect split. He must have remarkably flexible leg muscles because he really gets spread out at the plate.
He's always caught like that.
Look at this.
And you know, he throws from first base like that and could throw to second base almost as well. He could really gun it from that position. The reason he catches like that in the minor leagues, wanted to give his pitchers a good low target. That's how he started that way. And so he stayed that way. And that's what's right there. He gets the strikeout on a low fastball. He gives the umpire a great view of the low pitch because he's down on his haunches like that.
The Cardinals had a wonderful pitching staff for Tony Pena to handle. But realize over the last 3 years, when Pena caught as opposed to anybody else who caught, the Cardinals' ERA was 3/5 of a run lower.
That's one of the reasons. See what he's doing right there to Clemens? That's what he does for his staff. You lose your concentration a little bit, you miss with a pitch, Pena will be right up there letting you know about it. Base is empty. Red Sox are leading 1-0 here in the second inning. Walt West. 4 strikeouts now for Clemens.
Walter Weiss had a pair of hits off Clemens Sunday, 2 of the 6 that Clemens gave up.
Weiss is really hitting. 320. Solid average down the left field line. Mike Greenwell. That's the end of that inning. So both Stewart and Clemens retire the side in order in the second. Sox are up. Just the kind of game you would expect. Stewart and Clemens. We go to the top of the third inning. Number 9 hitter Marty Barrett will lead it off. This is a .281 lifetime hitter. I say that because he's not hitting that well right now, and he's got Lansford moved in at third looking for a possible bunt. I also say that because Marty Barrett against Dave Stewart is hitting .425 with a home run. Figure that out. 0-1. Shallow right center. Henderson will call off Canseco and puts it away. 1 away here in the third inning. Boggs will be out, but first, here's John Saunders.
In Kansas City, the White Sox and the Royals, the $3 million man, Mark Davis, is in, protecting a 4-3 lead, but Ozzie Guillen loops it out there. He winds up on second. Rodney McRae comes in to score to tie the game 4-4 in the ninth. Get it back to Gary and Norm.
Matchup right there. White Sox playing some great baseball. Boggs takes the strike. Fly ball was to left. Both Stewart and Clemens throwing on the Jugs gun at 90+. Stewart has given up some hits last season. 257 innings, 260 hits. It's kind of unusual for a great pitcher like Stewart to give up more hits than innings pitched.
You know, you'll see that sometimes, though, with true workhorses. They're just out there so long.
Fouled off.
And this is the one guy on this staff that La Russa won't hook. You know, Dave Stewart is truly a lunch pail pitcher. He just punches in at about 7:30, and along about 10:15 or 10:30, he's usually celebrating.
Like all good hitters, Boggs fighting it off. I want to remind you, Sunday night, the Yankees and the California Angels. Yankees coming out west. Angels trying to keep pace in this tough American League West. Mattingly and the Yankees trying to get it going. They're struggling. 8 o'clock right here on ESPN. It's an important road trip for the New York Yankees. 2-2 to Boggs. Ricky Henderson will go over, but will not have a play.
I can't imagine that the Yankees don't feel comfortable getting out of New York right now.
Yeah, they may need a West Coast trip.
That was not a good atmosphere that we found when we went into New York on Wednesday.
Players are unhappy. Fans are unhappy. Not pretty. 2-2. Boggs. What if Tick Stewart's glove? Gallego will make the play. And that'll take care of Boggs. And there are 2 down here in the third inning. Let's check in our Baseball Tonight studios. John?
We'll check the scores from around the American League. You can see rain postponed a couple of games. Detroit over Toronto, you saw that earlier. Kansas City and Chicago all tied up. We showed you why. California has taken a 1-0 lead as Luis Polonia led off with a triple and then later scored. Seattle and Baltimore all tied up at 2. Let's get back to you.
2 down here in the third inning. Red Sox Jody Reed, who scored the only run of the game in the first on the single by Evans, takes the strike with that hit. Now batting .315. He too has done well against Stewart. He's 7 for 19 against Dave Stewart lifetime.
So how does Stewart keep beating these people?
And the game's 1-0 games.
I know.
It's the way it goes. Here's the 1-1. Ooh, tough play. Gallego got a hurt. Running throw. Yes, indeed. Great play. Mike Gallego at second base. Another 1-2-3 inning. Sox still have the lead. Guess who's going to lead off this inning?
Mike Lupica does not believe this. Here's Gallego. You know, do you get a playoff intensity? I know that's an overused phrase. Look at Reed on a belly into first base. This game is being played like it's the first game of the ALCS.
They know. It's because of those guys on the mound. Joe Morgan's club knows, too, that it's got to have a good West Coast trip. And they're going to be tough to win, so you got to do what you can to win. Look at what they've got to go through on this trip they're on.
Well, 21 of them is 28 on the road, most of it against the West. And Oakland is not a place they play well. They've lost 12 of the 14 in this stadium. Then they go to artificial surface in Seattle and then encounter two terrific pitching staffs in California and Kansas City. This could be a breaker for a team that's playing very, very well given all of its problems.
Yep. Red Sox 12-9, 10-5 at home, 2-4 on the road, so they're going to catch up on the road games. And here is Mike Gallego. You saw our Wednesday night broadcast from Yankee Stadium. Mike Lupica joins us on Wednesday, arguing with me that it's not part of baseball that a guy who makes a great defensive play leads off the next inning. It's required. I mean, I tried to tell Michael that, but he just didn't want to listen.
Well, let's see. Greenwell leads off the fourth for Boston.
No, you can't do it in reverse. It's not necessary that the guy who's going to lead off makes the great play, but the one who makes the great play will lead off. 1-2.
Last year, the A's talked of Gallego as their MVP. They weren't serious that he was a better player than a Canseco or a McGuire. But it's a guy that moved all around, played third, short, second, pinch hit, pinch ran, played in the outfield.
Whoops. Clemens busted that one, almost took Al Clark, the home plate umpire, with him. 4 strikeouts, no walks. He now has 38 strikeouts on the season.
That's the trouble. From that position down there, Tony can't get those cap high ones.
Mamma mia. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, the count is full, 3-2.
Not a guy Clemens wants to walk. Obviously, he doesn't want to walk anybody. But, you know, another one of the remarkable things about Clemens is his control. For a guy that throws this hard in his career, he has struck out more than 3 hitters for everyone he's walked.
Jug's gun has him at 94 on that high fastball. Nolan Ryan leading the American League in strikeouts with Clemens second right now. 3-2. Center field. Ellis Burks. When Burks catches this, we'll check in with our Baseball Tonight studios. John Saunders is there.
And we'll check the National League. Montreal wins 5-4 over San Francisco. Tim Raines had a 2-run home run there. The Dodgers and the Phillies could be about to get underway. They're rain delayed in the 6th. Kruk with an RBI triple, Her with an RBI double. Cincinnati and St. Louis. Benzinger has 3 runs batted in. Back to you.
And we'll keep you posted on the scoreboards as we roll along here tonight in our second game of our ESPN doubleheader. Gary Thorne and Norm Hitzges. Great to have you with us on this Friday night, wherever you are. In most of this country, east of Chicago, it's probably raining. 1 down. Henderson. He will be followed by Carney Lansford. It's up to his average now to a very neat 347. Right there.
You see Clemens. You see the enormous power of Roger Clemens. And it's hard to put it together with one other fact in his life. The fact that when he came out of high school, he was totally undrafted because he did not throw hard enough.
Watch this. Watch the legs. Watch the push he gets from that back leg.
Do you realize he was not the #1 starter at Springwood High School in Houston? He was #2.
And Joe Morgan's happy about that because it kept the innings pitched down.
When he came out of high school, he was totally undrafted, and a Twin scout offered to sign him. And when Clemens said no, the Twin scout said, "Son, this may be the only chance you'll ever get to sign." Clemens instead went to junior college, was drafted out of junior college by the Mets. How would you like Gooden and Clemens back-to-back? Turned down $30,000 and went to the University of Texas. And the rest, as Paul Harvey would say.
He's out on the mound. 2-2. Got him. Henderson went around. That would have been ball 3, but Ricky Henderson could not hold up on it, and that's 5 strikeouts for Roger Clemens, and there are 2 down here in the 3rd.
This game is taking on an eerie resemblance to Sunday's 1-0 win by the Oakland A's. They nicked Stewart in the first. Stewart then went ahead and blew away the Red Sox. Today the Red Sox get one, and it's Clemens doing the blowing away.
Carney Lansford got ticked by a pitch his first time up. 2 down and the base is empty here. There's Ricky talking to himself. Shallow right field. Danny Heat. Heat makes the catch, and that'll retire the side in order. That's 9 in a row that have been retired. Let's check in now with John Saunders in our Baseball Tonight studios.
Thanks a lot, Gary and Norm. 1-0 where you are. Boston leading Oakland, similar to last week's game. But there was a big game at Madison Square Garden as we check other sports in the playoffs of the NBA. Patrick Ewing, hoping to keep the Knicks alive against the Celtics down 2-1. Came out smoking, nails a jumper, goes inside. He had the first 10 points for the Knicks. The turnaround, 20 in the first quarter. Everyone gets into the act. Mark Jackson to Johnny Newman. Behind his head. Knicks led by 6 after 1. Knicks were running the Celtics out of their Reeboks. Johnny Newman misses the jumper, but follows up on his own shot with a slam. Newman with 24. Jimmy Rogers can't believe it's getting away from him. Newman floors Reggie Lewis. Kevin McHale goes after Charles Oakley, but nothing happens at this point. Larry Bird gets frustrated, throws the ball at Oakland. Second half, Knicks poured it on. Gerald Wilkins misses. Ewing with the rebound and the follow. Knicks by 18. Mo Cheeks to Johnny Newman. Knicks up 121-94. Red Auerbach stunned on the road as they lose for the 2nd straight time, and Patrick Ewing has reason to smile. He is headed back to the Garden in Boston with the series tied at 2-2. Game 5 will be played on Sunday. Ewing would finish with 44 points and 13 rebounds. In the National Hockey League finals in the Wales Conference between the Boston Bruins and the Washington Capitals, and in the Campbell Conference it's Chicago and Edmonton. Chicago leading 3-2 over the Oilers as they try and even this series at 1 game apiece. Troy Murray has a goal from Roenick and Gilbert in the first. It was 1-0 at the end of the first period, but right now Chicago up 3-2. Let's get back to Gary and Norm.
Football and a basketball center in baseball and a backup pitcher in high school. Stewart got about 24 offers to play college football as a linebacker coming out of St. Elizabeth's High.
I think the A's organization's happy he did not decide to go that route, and so is he. Dwight Evans. Left center field, pretty good wood. Henderson's are there. Ricky wants it. We mentioned in the first inning how the ball carries here early on at night. As it cools down and the air gets heavier, there was an 85, 87 degree day here today. As it cools down, and it is, the air will get heavier and the ball will not carry as the game goes along. That ball in the first or second inning might have been close to the warning track. It is not anymore. And that's consistent with this ballpark, which was 10th in home runs last season. 116 were hit here, so not very high on ballparks and home runs.
Expect Pena to take a pitch or two here. The first 2 guys have gone out on the first pitch, and if anybody should understand taking a pitch or 2, it's the catcher. Oh, well, he should.
Perhaps you'd like to revise. We took a look at the Rockets' motion. Take a look at Stewart.
Take a look at the strength lower body. Right foot plant and turn. Look at the size of the thighs on Dave Stewart. That's where the heat comes from. He could have been a linebacker, Gary.
He's got the build for it. He's got those tremendously powerful legs.
You know, just like Clemens, nobody drafted him out of high school. Dodgers signed him as a free agent. Dodgers, though, you know what they did with him? He was a catcher to start out with. Till somebody watching the game said, hey, catcher's throwing the ball back harder than our pitcher's throwing it.
Let's reverse the process. The 0-2. Reached for and fouled off. He's up there over 90, 92 in the pitch before that. He took something off that one to Pena. Pena lined into a double play his first time up at a tough break when Greenwell got caught off second base. That last pitch was at 79, so you see the differential. It's really make it tough on the hitters. You're throwing a 92-mile-an-hour fastball and then an off-speed pitch at 79. 0-2, 2 down. Right back with the fastball, but he missed. Red Sox scoring in the first inning. One out single by Reed, a single by Greenwell, and an RBI single by Dwight Evans, a bloop single to center. And Pena hitting into the line drive double play that went 3-6. Oakland got the first two batters on in the first, and that's been it. Chopped foul.
Stewart's conversion from catcher to pitcher wasn't what you'd call an overnight success. Dave Stewart's first 2 years as a pitcher, he won 1 game. That's as in a total of 1 game.
1-2, look out, little chin music. Both these pitchers, as Norm mentioned about Clemens, same true for Stewart. They're not opposed to getting their part of the plate.
Welcome to the American League, Tony.
2-2. Got him. What a setup. Chin music to take him off the plate and a fastball on the outside corner. That's the way it's done. Great ball game, just as expected. 1-0. Tony Pena, third strike. Talk to himself much?
No protest. Tony's saying, I ain't going to hit it.
Man, oh man, what a setup that was. That's the way you pitch. I asked for tickets tonight. They could only give me one. Thought it was enough.
Down in front.
That's an expensive seat for a couple of dolls. 10 in a row have been retired by Stewart. 9 in a row by Clemens.
When Rogers high riders riding high, you get stats like that.
See if the A's can figure him out. Canseco, Steinbach, and Henderson. Struck out swinging his first time up.
You know, Gary, we talked about Clemens' high fastball. Have you seen Sterling Professor of Physics from Yale, Robert K. Adair's book, The Physics of Baseball?
Great book.
Terrific book.
Fun book.
Yeah. And he says, hello.
That went to the backstop on the fly, and I bet there's a big dent down there somewhere. And see Tony Pena go, Rocket, just back off just a little bit. I'm having trouble with this heat.
Think the adrenaline's flowing? Look at this. Look at Al Clark.
Al Clark wishes Pena had a different catching position right now. Can you be up just a little more?
Tony, I'll give you the low strike if you'll stay up.
2-0.
About Clemens' high rider, Adair, the professor, says his ball and high fastball pitchers' pitches don't rise. It's just that balls normally come in at a trajectory in which they drop. His ball is thrown in effect straight and gives the perception to the hitter that it rises.
That's the age-old argument. Sid Fernandez of the Mets is another one who throws that way. There aren't a lot of pitchers who do that, and you'll get a constant argument from hitters on whether a ball actually rises. Walked it. Well, you may be a little surprised about this. Jose Canseco has just picked up his 20th walk Now, he has struck out 26 times, but his on-base percentage is up there because he right now is 3rd in the American League in walks.
Yeah, earlier on we were talking, that's 43 times now he's been on base, and this is the 22nd game of the season.
He only had 23 walks in the half season he played last year. He's almost up there already. The A's trailing 1-0, get the leadoff man on. And he's running. Tony Pena. Stolen base. That's something else he's doing. That's his 8th stolen base. He's 2nd to Ricky Henderson in the American League in stolen bases.
What an incredible package Jose Canseco is. Takes a glance, says, nope, I got to keep going, and he's in. Very, very close. Watch Barrett's glove on the thigh. And a foot to the bag. That is very close.
Canseco is 8 for 9 in stolen bases. Take a look again. Did he get in?
Watch Barrett's glove. And the left foot of Canseco. Almost bang bang. Looked like he got a spike onto the bag.
There's a line drive towards the gap, not particularly deep. Greenwell, it's going to fall in. Canseco had to wait, so he'll stop at 3rd. Throw comes into 2nd base. And the A's, after having 9 in a row retired by Clemens, as they did in the 1st inning, get the first 2 on here in the 4th. 1st and 3rd, nobody out for Dave Henderson.
Speak softly, but carry a very big stick.
Steinbach getting the A's 2nd hit. Now Dave Henderson. Chance to tie the game up or better.
Henderson becomes a key hitter in this situation, because if Clemens can get Henderson and preserve the runners at 1st and 3rd, the double play gets him out of the inning, or the strikeout gets him to the point where the A's need a hit to produce the run.
The 2 combatants. This is when Clemens revs it up. If you believe he can, and he can. 1-1. Steinbach does not have speed at first base. There's nobody out. The infield is playing it halfway. Double play depth. 2nd and short. Boggs moving in on the pitch at 3rd. Buckner's already in at 1st, holding the bag. 1-1. Clemens has just grossly outmatched Dave Henderson in the 2 at-bats.
There's absolutely nothing clever about what Clemens is doing. He's just pouring it. He's got a hitter in a bad slump, Henderson, who's been striking out a lot.
Jug's gun had him at 94 in that last one. He'll go for the K. 1-2.
Now, if you're the hitter here, you've seen heat after heat after heat. This is where Clemens will occasionally mix the forkball where he badly needs the strikeout.
The danger of it is if it ends up in the dirt and you bounce it. That's right. Runner at 3rd base. Let's see what he does. 1-2. Right field line. Danny Heat giving chase. It's a foul ball and it's not playable. That's the only part of the ballpark where there's not a lot of room. Right in the right and left field corners. That's when the stands come out a bit. You can see it gets pretty close. Not much area where it's close. Just that corner right there where that ball was.
And that corner on a ball hit past first base that rolls into foul territory, it can hit in there and bounce around out on the field. You get some crazy hops in this place at times.
I'll roll around that outfield fence sometimes, and guys will chase it down 100 yards. Timeout taken. Canseco, the lead runner at 3rd. Steinbach at 1st. Nobody out. 1-2. Got him. 5 strikeouts. 6 strikeouts.
Here comes Clemens. Heat, breaking ball.
Now, this is the same thing he did in the first inning. The first 2 got on, and he struck the side out.
88-mile-an-hour slider. Hello. Hello.
Both Hendersons have been talking to themselves tonight on different occasions for the same reason.
Been a whole lot of people talking to the bat rack.
You see Clemens set up here. He's doing this a lot tonight. He's getting the guys off the plate, the big guys. Canseco, McGuire. He's busting them inside with high heat. It'll make your knees wiggle a little bit. 1-0. That's what he comes back with.
My.
Oh, man. One and one. What a show by Stewart and Clemens so far in this game. This is the textbook in motion. Two balls, 1 strike.
You will sometimes hear people say, pitch around a hitter, they've got first base open. Well, to Clemens, here's a guy he's done well against, but he has a base open with a strikeout possibility on deck in Jose.
2 balls, 1 strike. Runners at first and third. It's 1-0 Red Sox. Tony La Russa into this game, waiting for his club to try and push one across on Clemens. Already has the 6 strikeouts. Steps off, then fakes the throw, but Steinbach is virtually on the bag. Dave McKay, first base coach. Challenged him with high heat. Full count.
The book on McGuire is that he will chase high fastballs at times. That's why he has such trouble with Clemens. That's Clemens' strength and Mark McGuire's weakness.
90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Or you don't want to make a mistake out over the plate with McGuire, and stuff around mid-thigh to belt high, he crushes. High heat. That's the book.
Runner goes at first. Got him. Tony Pena for 2. They got him trapped. They come home by Canseco. Pena, get him! Great execution by the Boston Red Sox. Jody Reed cutting it off and making the play to the plate. It's a double play in a most unusual way. 2-6-2. 1-0 Sox. Folks, if you love baseball, you got to love this game. Look at the execution right here.
First, the book, high heat. There are 3 terrific arms on display here. Clemens, Pena, Reed. No, not Barrett. Barrett. And look at the block of the plate by Pena. Ooh, tough play at the plate. Does Canseco's foot get in before the tag comes down?
Well, Clark had it all the way. Apologized to Marty Barrett. I thought Reed had moved in to cut it off, but he went behind him, and Barrett made that great relay throw. What a double play. Strikeout, throw him out, double play. So Clemens in the first and fourth had the first 2 on, get out of the inning. That's going to be trouble. That's a base hit. Ricky Henderson will chase it down. Ellis Burks on his way to second base, and he's in with a lead-off double here in the 5th inning for the Red Sox.
This game could easily be being played October 10th instead of early May. Burks gets around on a pitch that hangs. Stewart tries the curveball, hangs it up and inside, and Burks just jerks it down to the left field corner. Ellis Burks was a terrific player in junior college.
Got 7 doubles. They're going to try and move him up. Stewart will have to go to first. Wire had a reach to get it. Good job by Buckner on the sacrifice, setting it up for Danny Heap. Let's check in with John Saunders.
The Reds and the Cardinals. Rob Dibble on in relief. Over 15 2/3 innings. This is strikeout number 27. That leads the team. John Tudor picks up his first loss. Back to Gary and Norm.
Thank you, John. Norm and I will be in Pittsburgh for Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. That'll be coming up on Wednesday night here on ESPN. And Mike Lupica will be joining us. And the folks in Cincinnati will be seeing our broadcast of that game. That's going to be a great matchup. A couple of very good clubs off the start in the East and the West. Infield has moved in. They'll come to the plate. Burks at third. Danny Heap. 0-2.
Is the strategy in this inning an indication of how both managers feel about this game? Joe Morton gets a leadoff double and bunts to make sure he gets the man over. The A's, no question, play the infield in, down a run in the 5th inning. These two guys know, Morgan and La Russa, hey, there aren't going to be many runs tonight, kids.
Both of them are into this game, aren't they? They're walking back and forth. There are no smiles. There's Burks. Led it off with a double. He's got an 8-game hit streak now, and Ellis Burks leads the Red Sox with 7 two-baggers. Danny Heap trying to get him home. 1-2. Foul ball, no play.
When Ellis Burks was in junior college, his roommate kept telling his dad, hey, you got to draft this guy. You got to draft this guy. His roommate was the son of Sandy Johnson, who was and Sandy didn't draft him. Red Sox beat him to him. Sandy says his son never lets him forget it. Sandy was heading up the Padres minor league system.
1-2 delivery. Heap stays alive. 5 pitches in a row have been over the 90-mile-per-hour mark. That one, 94 miles an hour.
Well, if you're Heap, you pretty much stow away the thought that he'll throw you the curveball because he hung that ball to Burks. So you're thinking fastball or split finger.
1-2.
Finger.
And a good block made by Steinbach.
That's exactly the play you mentioned last inning. The forkball or split finger, whichever you prefer to call it, is a wonderful pitch. But if you overthrow it slightly and it bounces, your catcher has got to do a wonderful job here to save a run.
Steinbach does it perfectly. Puts the whole body over in front of it.
Hard to believe Steinbach was a third baseman in 1986.
Not an easy transition.
No.
Infield, remember, is drawn in. 2-2. Burks at third. 1 out. Got a base hit, Danny Heap. And the Red Sox take a 2-0 lead as Ellis Burks scores, and Danny Heap, who doesn't get a lot of playing time, has had only 22 at-bats. That's his first RBI of the season, and that's a tough one to get. And Kutchner's going to come in and run for him. Put a little more speed on the base paths to try and get a bigger inning going here.
And a little better defensive outfielder, Randy Kutcher. Neither one of these guys, Heap or Kutcher, figure to play even as much as they have been playing now that the trade for Brunansky's been made. Danny Heap with a huge run batted in this game, and that comes from a guy who's really been struggling of late.
So Heap gets the job done. Burks scores, and the pitch is outside to Marty Barrett. So the Red Sox with a run in the first on Evans' RBI single, get another run here in the 5th on the RBI single by Danny Heap, and still just 1 away. Stewart holding Kutcher close to the bag. Kutcher has tried to steal a base, but he's 0 for 2 thus far.
You know, the Red Sox, for them, have been struggling to score runs. This is a team that has led the American League the last 2 years in runs scored. In fact, led the league by 34 runs last year. They come into this game 9th in the league in runs scored. That's almost unthinkable for a Red Sox team.
It really is, especially when they're batting .272, which is the 2nd best average in the league. He's really concerned here, obviously, with Kutcher coming on to run for Heap. Morgan's got some ideas about making this go. Marty Barrett, even though he's batting 9th in the order, is a guy who has been to the top of the order in that second spot in years past and times past, so he can handle the bat. If you want to hit and run, Barrett's somebody you can do it for. 1-0 count, one away. Red Sox leading it 2-0. 5 hits, 2 of them in this inning. The only extra base hit of the game, that double by Burks, who scored. Runner goes, hit and run was on, and it's fouled off down the right field line.
Hey, you know, Gary, when Tom Brunansky gets here and replaces Danny Heap in right field, if they batted the lineup the same with Brunansky in it for Heap, you would truly have the killer bees. You would have hitting in order in the Boston lineup: Burks, Buckner, Brunansky, Barrett, and Boggs.
Not bad. Boo. 1-1 count. I asked Joe Morgan before the game where he would hit Brunansky when he gets here, and Joe looked at the lineup card and said, "It'll come to me later," and smiled.
No.
If you joined us late, by the way, and did not hear about it, Smith is gone. The trade with St. Louis. Lee Smith going to the Cardinals. Todd Worrell out. They needed help in the bullpen, so Whitey's got that. The Red Sox needed a stick at the plate, maybe to bang some home runs out, particularly at Fenway. And they've got Tom Brunansky. Fletcher gets back to the bag. Brunansky, interestingly, had some very good numbers at Fenway Park. He's only played there in 32 games, but he's hit 10 home runs and a .302 batting average in games that were played at Fenway. So that's not bad for him. And another throw to first.
And look at the consistency of Brunansky's RBIs. 7 years in a row between 75 and 90.
And he hits home runs.
And he hits home runs.
He's a 20-plus home run hitter.
You stick him in the middle of this lineup. This is a good-looking lineup.
Just adds more punch to the offense. 1-1, one away, 2-0 Sox lead. Kutcher at first. Towards the middle, Weiss. This should be an easy double play. That ball was hit so hard. Weiss was playing over to the bag, and that'll do it. But a run in on a couple of hits. Nobody left on. 2-0 Boston.
In Seattle, the Orioles and the Mariners, and Sam Horn at the plate against Gary Eve. Now, Sam Horn had 2 home runs on opening day against Kansas City. This is the first he's had since. That one made it 3-2. It's now a 3-3 game. Let's get back to 4-3 now to Gary and Norm.
Sam Horn, who used to play with these Boston Red Sox. Back here at the Oakland Alameda County Stadium, 2-0. Red Sox are leading it. This is the Oakland version of the game Monopoly. Randy Kutcher's come out to play for Danny Heap. Ran for him and stays in right field. Now Clemens with a couple of runs to work with, and he normally doesn't need much more than that designated hitter, Felix Jose.
Let us remind you again of that statistic: when Clemens strikes out 10 men or more in a game. He has done it 39 times in his career. He has 30 wins, 2 losses, and 7 no decisions. And he sits right now with 7 strikeouts through 4 innings.
0-2. And that's a base hit. And Greenwell has to dive. And it'll hold him at first base. That ball almost scooted through. Felix Jose, who has good speed, took a look as Greenwell went down on the grass. The ball just zipped up on him on that first hop.
He plays the green well, so to speak, but this is a triple he saves. Not a double, a triple.
He plays the green well. And you were on me?
Burks would have never got to that ball until it rattled off the wall. That's 3 he saves.
The A's get a hit. The Red Sox get a break on Greenwell cutting that off. That's only the 3rd hit off Clemens. Pena fakes to first. He will throw behind the batter to first base. Felix Jose, hot stick, 14 hits, last 30 at bats. DH tonight on at first. Walt Weiss also putting the ball in play, batting .316. You see what a difference that run the Red Sox picked up in the 5th makes now. Otherwise, in this situation, in a 1-0 game, La Russa probably is going to bunt, try and move the runner up, and just get that 1 run, tie it up. Now, though, down 2-0. Clemens firing away. He's got to go for a bigger inning.
Well, he'd love Weiss to get on, because then an accomplished bunter, Gallego at 9, can move him up to the top of the order and give Henderson and Lansford a chance to tie the game.
Weiss, they'll check, yes. Phillips. A little help out on the call. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Weiss, a switch hitter. 355 left-handed and 154 right-handed thus far. He's on the strong side. 1-2 the count. Stopped by Pena. There are those numbers, and you see the home runs have also come left-handed. Clemens gave up a Ricky Henderson leadoff single in the first inning, a single in the 4th to Steinbach, and now the single by Jose leading off the 5th. And he'll step Felix Jose back. See, Jose's challenging him over there as he did not go back to the bag. 2-2. Foul ball. Want to remind you, ESPN's Baseball Tonight. All the highlights, all the news, and all the views. And it comes your way every night. If it happens in baseball, you'll see it on Baseball Tonight only, right here on ESPN. Your guide to baseball, 1990. 2-2. See you later. 8 strikeouts.
If Roger Clemens puts this pitch in this spot for the rest of his career, start cleaning out a corner in Cooperstown. That's a basically unhittable pitch. The best thing Weiss could have done there is maybe nub that ball foul.
You can clear that corner out anyway.
Yeah, I think you can also.
Barring an injury.
Yeah, just the good Lord give him health, and Weiss gets to speak to the bat rack.
That's right. They've all done it. Weiss has struck out only 8 times this season. Felix Jose back to the bag. He's got a couple of stolen bases. He's 2 for 3.
Don't be surprised if Gallego still bunts here and takes a shot at a base hit.
1 out.
Because even if Gallego gets thrown out, it moves the runner into scoring position for Henderson, who's got one of the 3 base hits off Clemens tonight. And basically at this point, you're trying to peck away if you're Oakland. You'd love to get 1 out of this inning if you could.
Gallego waiting. 1-0. Red Sox a 2-0 lead. Gallego thinking about extra base hits. Going to catch up with both Mark McGwire and Jose Canseco, but not in home runs. Count. Full house crowd here in Oakland. Trying to spur the offense. The Oakland A's on. There goes Jose. Hit and run. Right field line. It could be trouble. That's a base hit. Jose's on his way to third. Pitcher up with the ball. Will get it back in. They go to first. Buckner will not get the tag on. Hit and run. Gallego delivers. First and third. 1 away for Ricky Henderson.
Well, a tip of the cap to Joe Morgan. Danny Heap, who's not as accomplished a right fielder as Kutcher, may not have gotten to this ball down the line. And if this ball gets through and into the corner, this is a triple for Gallego. This is an outstanding play by Kutcher, who keeps the double play in order.
Norm, something else. Danny Heap's left-handed. Kutcher's right-handed. Does Danny Heap get across the body to get that ball?
Exactly right. Exactly right. So you've got the double advantage of Kutcher, a speedier player, and with the glove in the proper hand to cut the ball off headed to the corner.
Just happened to work that way, but that's why he's in there. So here's another classic confrontation. Ricky Henderson and Roger Clemens. The Red Sox are leading 2-0. Oakland with runners at first and third. Henderson's single came in the first. Same pattern. Hit him off the plate for the first pitch. Felix Jose, good speed, third base. Gallego, decent speed at first. Henderson towards third. Boggs, a chance for two. That's one. Barrett, nope, run scores. Good takeout slide by Mike Gallego. Felix Jose crosses with a first Oakland run on the force out, but they could not turn two, and it's a 2-1 Red Sox lead.
Doubling Ricky Henderson was tough to do in the first place. Barrett can't seem to quite get the ball out of his glove as quickly as possible. And Gallego with a nice rolling takeout there. Doubt if they would have had Henderson at first anyway.
Mighty tough guy to double up. Now will he go? That's what the fans are hollering about.
No. When will he go?
Better point. Credit Ricky Henderson with his 8th run batted in. 2-1. Lansford. Ball one.
Henderson wanted it there, and Clemens quick pitched it.
Rid of it in a hurry.
That's one thing Clemens has done to sharpen his game. He used to be easy to run against, but last year, 17 runners trying to run against Clemens were thrown out.
And even better for him this season with Tony Pena behind the plate.
Runners were just over 50% efficient against Clemens, and that's not good efficiency. 19 made, 17 didn't.
Battle continues. Clemens and Henderson this time on the base path. Tony Pena's throwing base runners out at a 47% clip. That's excellent.
These days, that's unbelievable.
You get up 33% or better, and you're doing outstanding work. There's Pena. Lansford. 2-0.
Henderson hesitated there. He didn't read Clemens very well. Uh-oh, tucking in the chain. Is he getting ready for speed?
Clemens throwing at 94 miles an hour in that last delivery. Lansford, great clutch hitter, 8 for 23 with 2 out this season. Towards the middle. Barrett, step in the bag, and that'll do it. Clemens gets out of the inning, but a run is scored on a couple of hits, and we've got a 1-run ball game. Nice hat, guy.
Yeah, thanks. You too.
USS Shark. Those baseball caps, compliments of the crew of the USS Shark. They are here in Oakland.
Yeah, 26 of them in attendance here, and they're in the section right above us, as a matter of fact.
I wanted to make sure we said hi to all the families out there. Mike Harley came by, Springfield, Mass, to bring us the USS Shark caps. Wade Boggs, 1-1. 1-2. Stewart, 1 strikeout, no walks. 2 runs off him on 5 hits. Looking at one of the great hitters in baseball against one of baseball's great pitchers. Wade Boggs with a .352 lifetime batting average. Center field, pretty good wood. Henderson back, Henderson back, Henderson back. Warning track. That ball was tagged. Let's check in on the Baseball Tonight studios, John.
Gary and Norm, the White Sox and the Royals are tied up at 4-4. Steve Farr on the mound. Lance Johnson loops this one out to left field. Lyons scores to break the tie, and the Sox win it 5-4. The Royals' 15th loss in 21 games. Back to Gary and Norm.
Congratulations to Jeff Torborg and the Chicago White Sox there. They may be the surprise team in baseball. Hindu Kendu, you saw the poster, Dave Henderson. The bad boys.
Meanwhile, Kansas City keeps saying it's early. That's whistling in a dark alley with the A's in this division. It is never early when Oakland's in the West.
Don't want to get very far behind.
No, and they're already far behind.
Kansas City was expected to have maybe the best pitching staff one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. They're next to last in ERA. Had him fooled on that, but he held up. Stewart missed inside to Jody Reed. Two balls, one strike, one away. Burning up the corner. 2-2. 91 on the Jugs gun. Stewart's down here 2-1. Questioning it, Jody Reed. Scored a run in the first inning. Had a single. He's 7 for 20 against Stewart lifetime, and he's just trying to shake him up a little bit as he wanted home plate umpire to take a look at the baseball. He did. Sent it back. 2-2. He sends it to center. Maybe it worked. 2 for 3 for Jody Reed. And that .311 batting average will go up a little higher. And with one out, the Red Sox pick up their 6th hit of the game. And they've got the meat of the order, Greenwell and Evans, and then Pena coming up.
Last inning and early in this inning, Stewart is about 6 inches up in his location. To a team that hits the ball as well as the Red Sox, that's very dangerous. Another ball up. Oh,
Locked him up, got away with that one. Second baseman Mike Gallego. Fair territory. And that'll bring up Evans now with 2 away. You know what time it is?
it is.
It is. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball, and it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without huge sums of cash have to be paid. And you got to have the written consent of Major League Baseball to do it.
The express written consent.
Which is unlike inexpress.
Right.
2 down. Or you could send our director a piece of chocolate pie, and he'll let you have it for free. 2-1. Red Sox are leading here in the 6th inning. The pitcher's duel expected has developed. Stewart and Clemens again. 2 down. Runner at first base. Right straight back. No play.
Well, the last hitter, Dave Stewart, really got away with a pitch to Greenwell. The ball was up just above the belt and right out over the plate. You know, hitters will tell you, in every at-bat, you'll get one pitch to hit, and Greenwell got a beauty, and he just didn't do anything with it.
You don't get many of those against these guys. Evans waiting. We'll wait a little longer.
If you're thinking run with Reed, probably not. 6 stolen bases in 3 years.
2 down. Missed a little low. Dwight Evans, one of the more unusual records in baseball anymore. 19 years with one team, Boston. Longest continuous service in the majors. 1972 through today. 2-1. There he goes. Swung on and popped up for the 3rd out. Gallego can put it away. That'll do it. No runs on a hit. Base runner left on. Only 2 stranded so far by Boston.
Tigers won earlier tonight, so the New York Yankees needed a win to avoid the cellar in the American League East. Mark Langston to Jesse Barfield. The former Blue Jay takes it deep here. Out to right center field. It's a 3-run home run. They lead 5-1 over Langston in the 6th. Back to Gary and Norm.
What a ball game. 2-1. Red Sox leading the A's here in this great pitching duel. Gary Thorne, Norm Hitzges, Johnny Mathis, chances are Dave Stewart and Roger Clemens will do this again someday. 1 strikeout, no walks, 5-0 record, hoping his club can at least get even with the Red Sox right now. And with the guys they've got coming up, one swing of the bat can do it. And Seiko hitting .291 as he stands in. Reached on a walk his last time up. In our voting for best music in the ballpark for this season, Oakland is right there.
Yeah, this is it.
I tell you, they play a mixture of some great songs.
Where else do you get Johnny Mathis, chances are, and the theme from Green Acres in the same evening.
And appropriately placed. It's
Yes.
all done for a purpose. And when the relief pitcher comes on for the opposing team, they play Happy Trails to You by Roy Rogers.
I still like the choice the other night in New York, though. When the New York person saw Dennis Eckersley coming in to slam the door in the Yankees' face, he played I Feel a Bad Moon Rising.
That's for the home crowd, too.
Yes.
Canseco looking for another walk. And he gets it. Jose, you have improved that batting eye. 2 walks tonight and 21 on the year for a guy who had 23 in the half season he played last year. Dave Stewart. Eyes of envy, you better believe it. Look at the Cy Young Award winners. Why not Dave Stewart?
He's been right there every year, but he complained back in 1987, and all it got him was criticism. He complained when he finished 3rd to Clemens and Key.
3 years, he's won 20 games or more.
Let me tell you something. With the way Dave Stewart has grown as a personality in this country, and with as close as he's come, if he has anything like the year this year, like he's had the last 3, he'll win it this year, especially after the Heroes roll at the Nimitz Freeway.
And he's got a pretty good shot at that 5-0 start. All right, we've got a 1-run game now. In at 1st and 3rd for Steinbach, who's batting cleanup, but he could bunt. He's going to make Clemens throw a strike first in any event because he walked Canseco on 4 straight. So he does that. Now we'll see what La Russa wants.
Remember now, the last time this happened, Canseco set sail for second base. This is unusual. Murphy, after 5? Gary, let me tell you, this is awfully early for Rob Murphy to be warming up. Has Clemens told the Red Sox something?
I sure would think so.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
You would not make a strategic move no matter who's coming up with Clemens on the mound. 0-1. And he did walk Canseco on 4 in a row, and the pitches are up in the strike zone. Not unusual for him, but they're not in the strike zone anymore.
86 miles an hour. This is a lot of what happened to Roger Clemens last season, where he couldn't sustain speed into the later innings.
We'll keep an eye on it. 1-1. Oh, bad cut right there, and Steinbach knows it. He puts the palm out himself. He wanted to show us that everything's okay. The Jugs gun had him at 93 on that one, and Steinbach helped him out as he climbed the ladder. 1-2. 8 strikeouts for the Rocket. Canseco, who has proven he will run, picking up a stolen base earlier. One thing that happens when you're a strikeout pitcher, as you saw with the 8 that he has, you do throw a lot of pitches. Nolan Ryan has that, not a problem, but that same kind of situation, because you got to get 3 in there to get a guy out. Stewart's just the other way around usually. He doesn't strike out a lot of people. He gets fielders behind him working. 1-2. Will stay that way. Foul ball.
Roger Clemens holds the all-time baseball record for strikeouts in a 9-inning game, 20. He got 20 against Seattle back in April of 1986. You know the most outrageous note about that game? They went back and looked at the tapes of it. In that game, Seattle hitters touched the ball 29 times. 19 foul balls and 10 hit fair the whole evening.
That's incredible.
Is that outrageous? Can you imagine? They averaged touching the ball 3 times an inning. That includes foul balls now.
Yeah. That's when he's got the real jump going.
Oh, God.
Clemens didn't walk anybody in that game. He's walked only 2 here tonight. Both times Canseco, who's on first. 1-2, and Canseco's running. Just off the end of the bat.
It was a pretty nice strikeouts to walks ratio that evening. 20-0.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That'll play.
Jody Reed did Canseco a favor. He told him it had been fouled off.
Look at Pena's getting the throwing foot ready.
See, and he doesn't go down on the haunches on this one. Gives him a better chance to throw to second, so he'll stay up in the regular position.
Getting that plant foot ready to go.
Nobody out. 1-2 count. Red Sox leading at 2-1. Canseco at first. Breaking ball miss. Down low. 2-2. It's been a night of pacing for both managers. Canseco talking to Dave McKay, first base coach. Billy Buck holding at first.
A game like this can set the tempo for an entire road trip if you're Boston.
2-2. Canseco goes. Missed the throw down. He's over the bag. No, he's safe. Stolen base. That didn't develop the way it should have. Canseco looked like he was going to be caught. Tony Pena hesitated in making the throw.
Canseco now 9 of 10 on the season. The throw bounces. Barrett tries the back swipe.
Pena just had trouble getting rid of the ball. And now the potential tying runs in scoring position and a 3-2 count on Terry Steinbach. That's going to be a base hit to left field. Canseco saw it in front of him. Greenwell up with it. It's going to score the run. We've got a tie game at 2.
Zip off the Clemens fastball. That was nothing but a straight one in the middle of the strike zone, and Steinbach turns on it.
6 RBIs for Terry Steinbach, and Jose Canseco, another strong category, has scored 16 runs on the season, 2-2.
But again, one of those fine points of the game. Notice the small lineup change La Russa made tonight to move Steinbach up.
You may not like computer sheets, but that's why Steinbach's batting 4th. McGuire does not hit well against Roger Clemens. And it's not that Steinbach has had great outings against him, but he gets the bat on the ball against Clemens. He doesn't strike out against him. So La Russa moved him up into the 4th spot and put McGuire down into the 6th. And Canseco steals his second base to get in scoring position, and Steinbach delivers. 2-2 game. Anderson went around. Anderson just struggling against Clemens. 91-mile-an-hour fastball. He has already struck out twice, once called, once swinging.
When a hitter's in a slump, you'll get a lot of checked swings for strikes. You get a lot of hesitancy. Because not only are you hitting the ball poorly, you're going through a stretch like that, your mind starts to play tricks with you. You start guessing, and you see a lot of hesitation in the body movements of the hitter. The hitter isn't set as the pitch comes in. He's moving a little bit.
0-2. Struck him out 3rd time. 3 of the 9 for Clemens. 1 away. And it'll bring up McGuire. Full house here in Oakland. And understandably so. They're seeing just the kind of ball game they expected. 2-2, bottom of the 6th. Clemens and Stewart locked up. The Red Sox scored in the 1st. Evans had the RBI single. They got another run on a Denny Heap single in the 5th. The Oakland A's responded with a run in the 5th inning, an RBI on a ground ball force play by Ricky Henderson. And they've tied it up here on the RBI single by Terry Steinbach, who is 2 for 3 tonight.
Back to that lineup switch. McGuire dropped down, struck out in a key situation earlier in the game. Steinbach moved up, has singled twice, one of them in a key situation to drive in a tying run.
We saw Dave Stewart on the bench. His A's have come back to get the game tied up, so he's right back in it. Roger Clemens, there you see the number, will go to the triple digits on this next delivery.
High fastball. That's the book on McGuire. Ask him to chase it. Ooh.
Pretty good pitch.
Yeah, he didn't get that ball where he wanted. That ball was about a foot lower than Clemens wanted it.
He's also probably thrown over to first base tonight a good 12 to 15 times in this game, so you got to add that on to the pitch count. And remember, in a close game, how hard the pitcher's throwing. I mean, there's no room here in this game for either pitcher. You just lay one in. 0-2, 1 away, 2-2 game. And again, Tony Pena will go out. Want to remind you, our baseball here on ESPN will continue. The doubleheader. The Dodgers and Montreal, 7:30 Eastern, and Baltimore, California, 10:30 coming up on Tuesday. Could also be a regional game, Giants and Mets, or Red Sox and Mariners. 0-2.
That's where he wanted the pitch. McGuire simply did not fish. But again, Clemens is ahead, and he can afford to keep teasing McGuire in the upper strike zone.
1-2, center field. That's playable. Burks is there. And there are 2 down. Steinbach will go back to first base. So McGuire's 0 for 3.
Gary, he got away with another one, didn't he?
Yep.
That ball was too low. He brought it in right about belt high to McGuire. He's lucky to get the ball back, quite honestly.
He's still got enough zip on it, so they're not quite turning on it. But it is, the location is not comfortable.
But that pitch, 15, 20 pitches from now, where the zip is just a little lower, will end up in the seats.
Yep. Felix Jose. He's batting .390 as Steinbach goes back to the bag. 2 down. Jose's the designated hitter for tonight's game. And the switch hitter takes it outside. Jose, right-handed, only 5 at-bats left. Jose's only 23 years old. He was up and down last season from AAA to the major league level. Has done that for the last couple of years. He played in only 20 games last year with Oakland. Batted .287 AAA with 14 homers and 63 RBIs. Pena setting up outside, 2-1.
When Jose Canseco hurt his wrist, there was some hope that Jose was ready to come up in the major leagues and play for him, but he didn't produce. And then when he didn't, he went back to the minor leagues and was in a funk for about a month, hitting about .220. Then he finally snapped out of it and had a nice second half in the minor leagues.
Clemens again up high. He's throwing hard, 92 miles an hour in the jugs gun on that last pitch, but
he's starting to throw an enormous number of pitches.
He's starting to throw.
He's starting to throw, not pitch. Exactly
not pitch.
right.
He's starting to throw. He's just rearing back and heaving the baseball. 2 down, though. Foul tipped into the mitt, and the count is 3-2.
But again, the mystery of this inning was, why was Rob Murphy up and throwing when the inning began for Boston?
We don't have an obvious answer to that, but you certainly have to believe Clemens said something.
Or Pena said something.
3-2, 2 down. Runner goes. Hit it in! Right field! Goodbye, Oakland!
literally just moments ago, we discussed the location of McGuire, and that if he kept losing a little zip, how the ball would end up in the seats, and there it is, Mr. Thorne.
And there's a base hit by Walt Weiss. First ball hitting after the third home run of the season by Felix Jose. The A's have a 4-2 lead, 3 runs in the 6th. Just the second home run given up by Clemens. It was a 93-mile-an-hour fastball on the jugs gun. Felix Jose doesn't care because it ended up way back in that empty seat area in right field. And the 23-year-old can't believe what he did. And Bill Fisher, the pitching coach, is on his way out. For the Oakland A's, second in home runs in the league, trailing only Toronto. The A's have now picked up 29 homers. They make them count. Felix Jose, a 2-for-3 night, 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored. While Fisher talks there, we'll catch up in our Baseball Tonight studios. John?
Well, Gary and Norm, because of rain, only about 200 fans on hand to watch the Phillies beat the Dodgers, and they missed this play. Dickie Thorne out to Cal Daniels. It's wet. He trips. He falls. He rolls. He comes up throwing and throws it away. A tough night out there. 8-3 is the final. Back to you.
Oakland leading 4-2, and here in the bottom of the 6th inning, Gallego has picked up a single. With 2 down, has Weiss on at first base. 7 hits now for the A's.
And it's happening all over again to Roger Clemens. He has never won in this park. And since Dave Stewart's been an A, he's never beaten Stewart. This is the 5th head-to-head.
Does that weigh on your mind and catch up with you? I don't think so. In the case of Roger Clemens, you're just talking about 2 great talents who do battle.
Exactly.
That's all. And that's the way it's worked out. 2 down. Clemens has to be a little unnerved, though, by the home run by Felix Jose.
Clemens is a guy who is 97 wins and 37 losses, or 39 losses against the rest of the league, and 2-7 against Oakland. The only team he doesn't have a winning record against.
1-0. Ironically, it was almost the other way around for these 2 teams last season. The Red Sox won the season series last year, 7-5.
But it was a home-and-home series last year. Everybody won at home. Boston won in Fenway, and Oakland won here.
2-0 towards second. Barrett go to first base, and he will get Gallego, but not before the A's pick up 3 runs and take the lead, 4-2.
ESPN Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. See them all at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer. By Levi's 505 and 506 jeans. By Thompson's Water Seal Exterior Stain, beauty that lasts, at last. And by Bud Light, everything else is just a light.
Stewart has seen his club come from behind, and a chance for him to go 6-0 on the year. He's got 2 runs to work with. The A's out hitting the Red Sox 7-6 with that big bottom of the 6th inning. We go to the 7th. Tony Pena leading it off for the Red Sox. Burks and Buckner to follow. It's the outside corner. Roger Clemens has given up only 2 home runs this season. You saw the shot picked up by Felix Jose. Robin Ventura, a right-handed hitter with the Chicago White Sox, their 3rd baseman, had the other homer off the rocket. 1-1. Off home plate. Foul. Stewart with a 1-2 to Pena. Wanted to check, no dice. 2-2.
Well, it's 9:45 Pacific Daylight Time, and you know where Dave Stewart is. He's still pitching.
Right there, and he gets his second strikeout.
Dave Stewart against Roger Clemens on national TV. It's kind of deja vu for Tony La Russa. He took over this club July 7th, 1986, and on that night had to manage a sorry A's team against the Red Sox on national TV, pitching Roger Clemens. That night he didn't know who to pitch. He fished into the bullpen and gave the ball to Dave Stewart, who went out and beat Roger Clemens, and it's been skyrockets ever since for the both of them.
Talked about Clemens going after his 99th. Tony La Russa's Dave Stewart's after his 107th victory tonight. He's 106 and 74 lifetime. Popped it up. Short or third. Third, Lansford wants it. 2 down in the 7th.
Here's the mark of a Tiger, Gary. You sat in the dugout for a long time, you watched your team rally, and you go out there and you grab them by the jugular.
This is when you do it.
This
So
guy
important
isn't.
for a team that has given up runs to come back in the next half inning and get something back offensively. Otherwise, you got a chance to get buried. 2 down and nobody on. Buckner fouls it off. In hockey, the National Hockey League playoffs, the Blackhawks defeated Edmonton in Edmonton 4-3 tonight, so they've evened that series at 1-1 as they head to Chicago Stadium. Highlights will be coming up on SportsCenter right here on ESPN. See what great control he has. He hasn't walked anybody. 2 strikeouts. 0-1. Simple game. Throw strikes. Notes the ball when it's hit.
Note that Stewart's in the low 90s in the top of the 7th. Clemens probably around 110 to 115, finishing the bottom of the 6th.
1-1 to Buckner. Fouled off. 1-2. 91 on the Jugs gun. 91 miles an hour on that one, so he's still right up there. Also on SportsCenter tonight, the NBA playoffs. Highlights of Utah's win over Phoenix, 105-94, 2-2 in the series.
First time since '86 the Jazz won in the Valley of the Sun.
Thank you, Janice. 1-2. Buck fouls it off again. At least Buck got rid of those shoes. You know those high tops he was wearing? Oh my gosh, were those things ugly.
If he could only get rid of the bad ankles, though, rather than the shoes.
He's got the regular baseball cleats on now. He used to wear those high tops. Look at the, you see how the ankle's wrapped. You can see the swelling. 1-2. Weiss. Here's the eye of the Tiger. He retires the side in order. 7th inning stretch time from
Rained out, so it didn't take much. The Expos win. Tim Raines with a 2-run home run. The Dodgers lose to the Phillies. Vaughn Hayes had a home run and was 2 for 4. Bill Thompson had a home run. Cincinnati over St. Louis 8-3.
Nothing like a night at the ballpark. Young man got the stuffed animal with him just in case we get a little sleepy here, Dad. Just brought it with me. These folks aren't going to get sleepy at all. Yes, he's a 20-game winner. It's Dave Stewart poster night, and well, it should be. Fans up for the 7th inning stretch. Started when they played the Hallelujah Chorus and the King. No, that's something else. Bottom half of the 7th. Clemens comes inside. Ricky Henderson, top of the order. Lansford and Canseco to follow. Rocket with a couple of walks, 9 strikeouts. It's the strike.
Ricky Henderson and Dave Stewart have similar paths in their lifetime. They grew up together, boyhood friends. Played on the playgrounds of Oakland, along with Gary Pettis and Lloyd Mosby, who were on the same teams as kids.
Not far from this site. Ricky Henderson, home's just outside the walls of the outfield here.
Yep. And Dave Stewart's home on Havens Court about 1 mile from the pitching rubber, basically. Used to sneak in. He and Henderson used to sneak in this park.
Imagine the thrill for these two guys playing here. 1-2 delivery. Manion catches the bounce.
In fact, just in case he's watching so we can make him feel old, Dave Stewart was once a member of Reggie's Regiment here. Kids for Reggie Jackson.
Reggie, he said that. I didn't. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now back and a check swing by Henderson. Ricky, whose average is at .338 as he stands in right now. That single in the first inning has picked up an RBI when he hit into a forced play. Henderson, .419 on base percentage starting tonight's game. It's right where they want him, that #1 spot. 3-2. He's on again.
How much longer will Clemens go? You start to wonder. There's still no action in the Red Sox bullpen.
Third walk given up by Clemens, and that's a dangerous one. Sunday night, New York Yankees. They're on the West Coast. They'll take on the California Angels. You'll see it right here on ESPN, 8 o'clock Eastern. Mattingly and company on a big road trip. The California Angels trying to hang in the division. And that game will be seen in both New York and around the Anaheim area. For the home fans, we'll see that game right here on ESPN Sunday night. Now Clemens, with nobody out, bounces another one on Carney Lansford. Bullpen's been up once. It's up again.
Murphy again, and Clemens now at 116 pitches. The only thing that keeps Clemens in this game as opposed to other starters is this is the horse. Clemens goes as far as Clemens wants to go, basically. They'd love to let him hang in to hopefully get him a victory with a rally.
Just throwing a lot of pitches. Throw down by Pena. Henderson, though, back to the bag easily. He's throwing hard, but it's not where he wants it. He's 91, 92, but that ball's up and up and in and up and up and in, and that may be it. Morgan is on his way out.
Yeah.
And Bill Fisher had already been out earlier in the game, and now Joe Morgan, the skipper, looking down to the bullpen, has been given the tip of the hat, and that's it. Roger Clemens is going to leave this game. The only loss he has in his 4-1 season thus far came on Sunday at Fenway Park against these Oakland A's. And the left-hander, Rob Murphy, is coming on in relief. Clemens will leave. He'll get a great hand from the Oakland crowd. Roger Clemens has to be wondering, what do I have to do to pick up a win against the A's and Dave Stewart? There's the line, not complete yet. 6+, the 7 hits. All 4 of the runs earned, 9 strikeouts, and he's responsible for the base runner Henderson. And maybe responsible for Lansford. It's a 2-0 count, Rob Murphy.
Here's the rubber-armed Rob Murphy. Fastball, slider, forkball pitcher. No one appeared in more games in April in the American League 11. No one has appeared in more games in the last 3 years in baseball. This guy has averaged 79 games a season for 3 years. Every other night for 3 years, Rob Murphy punches the clock.
It's called earning you pay out of the pen. He's got Henderson at first, and Lansford takes the strike. So it's 2 balls and 1 strike on Carney Lansford, who had to wait for the pitching change.
Not only is the runner at first Clemens' responsibility, but Lansford could be also if Murphy walks it.
Yep. And he's in danger of doing that right now as the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. He's worked 3 innings against Oakland in the series at Fenway. Didn't give up any runs. He's only worked 6 innings lifetime against the A's. A couple of earned runs off him. He'll throw to first to hold Henderson. Nobody out. 7th inning. The A's scored 3 in the 6th. After they'd been behind 2-0, they got 1 in the 5th and then took the lead in the 6th. Lansford draws the walk. That will be charged to Clemens. So charge Clemens with 4 walks. And now there are runners on at first and second base. Still nobody out. And middle of the order, Canseco, Steinbach, and Henderson do up. Canseco working against the left-hander. He's drawn 2 walks and has struck out. So he hasn't put the ball in play yet. Has picked up 2 steals and has scored a run. And he gets the hit against the left-hander. He's salivating a little bit.
Unlike a lot of guys who make 75 or more appearances per season, Murphy's not a spot left-hander. He can go a long way. He went into the 4th inning in an appearance earlier this year against California. Very, very durable, good pitcher.
Ooh, close. Barrett taking the throw. He never got to the bag. Henderson was there, but Barrett wasn't. Ricky's giving him a little what for. You see Barrett smiling back at him. And Seiko is hitting .291, has got a chance to really bust this game open here in the bottom of the 7th. Murphy's there, 1-1.
80 miles an hour for that pitch, 84 miles an hour the pitch before. But Murphy's a different type of pitcher from Clemens in 2 ways. The speed is different, and Murphy's a spot pitcher. He's a location pitcher. He's not as much of a rear back and fire type. Hitters have to make an adjustment to it.
Pick off again on Henderson. Barrett. We have not mentioned yet tonight, as you take a look at Tony La Russa, there was another acquisition in addition to the Red Sox trade today. Lee Smith going for Tom Bernansky. Bernansky's not here. Jerry Reed is here. And there he is warming up in the bullpen. He was released by the Seattle Mariners, and the Red Sox picked him up, and he joined the club here today. He is a middle reliever and potential spot starter. Anderson at second base. Carney Lansford at first. Nobody out. A's up 4-2. 1-1 the count on Canseco. Deep to left field, and it's fair. It's gone. It's fair, and it's gone. A 3-run homer.
You know, the wonderful thing about Canseco from an announcer standpoint is they aren't ever close, are they, Gary?
Would it be fair? Is the only question.
That ball was a moonshot. 2 of those runs charged to that man, Roger Clemens. You got to wonder something about the choice of Murphy. The left-hander was brought in to face right-hander Lansford, right-hander Canseco, right-hander Steinbach, right-hander Henderson, and right-hander McGuire.
Murphy gives up the homer, and it's a 7-2 A's lead. Jose Canseco, his 7th home run, 16 RBIs.
Where does this baby hit? I thought this was going to go to the top deck when he hit it. No.
It was high enough.
Yep.
Well, Joe Morgan, one thing I'm sure he looked at, believe it or not, Jose Canseco did not hit particularly well against left-handers last year. He hit better against right-handers. Takes it inside. Ricky Henderson was on second base to score ahead of Canseco. Watch him as he watched.
Yeah, this is a trot. Thank you very much.
Swung on, hit in the air, deep to left field. This ball's way back. Goodbye, Terry Steinbach, home run.
Goodbye, Ron Murphy, also.
Terry Steinbach, second home run, 6th RBI. Rob Murphy has now given up 4 home runs in 17 innings, and he's gone. Roger Clemens can only wonder what happened. Against Jerry Reed as the A's have taken an 8-2 lead. Murphy Murphy didn't face anybody officially as far as innings pitched is concerned. 2 hits, 2 runs, both homers. 1-0 by Reed, his first appearance in a Red Sox uniform as he tries to quiet the A's.
34 years old, signed as a free agent after being released by Seattle on April 25th.
He just got here today, didn't expect really to pitch, but told Bill Fisher, the pitching coach, he was ready, that he had them throwing on the week that he had off after being released by the Mariners. 2-1 foul tipped into the mitt, held on to. 2-2.
In the midst of this carnage the last few innings, Dave Henderson hasn't taken part. The slumping Henderson, 3 straight Ks tonight.
Reed.
Oh.
Jody Reed. And there's the first out here in the 7th inning. Let's go to our Baseball Tonight studios. John Saunders.
Well, they're playing long ball where you are, and in Seattle as well. Craig Worthington goes to the opposite field. Give it a look, but it's over the big wall and way up there. A 2-run home run. The Orioles leading 6-3. Back to Gary and Norm.
Long ball here in the 7th. The back-to-back home runs by Canseco and Steinbach. A 3-run homer by Canseco. And it's taken outside by McGuire. So the final line on Clemens, 6+ innings. 6 earned runs on 7 hits, and Dave Stewart is done. Stewart's got the big lead, and he's going to the clubhouse. They'll go to the pen. Up high. Clemens, pitcher of record for the Red Sox. 4 walks, 9 strikeouts, but 6 runs, 7 hits, including a home run picked up off him by Felix Jose in the 6th. 3 home runs for the A's. Now have 31 on the season. All of a sudden, this pitching duel has disappeared. Reed misses with that one, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike. There's Gene Nelson. 1 away, bases empty. 3-2. That's what this A's team is all about. Jerry Reed just trying to hold the fort now as the Red Sox get a chance to look at the right-hander. It's almost a mop-up roll at this point. Got him on the foul tip, struck him out, and there are 2 away here in the 7th inning. Take a look at Steinbach's home run.
Rob Murphy, you've heard of a perfect game. Rob Murphy completes his most imperfect game. 2 hitters, 2 homers.
He's got to be concerned about the long ball, giving up 4 home runs so far.
Yeah, but see, Steinbach is a shot by a mortal man. It goes out there, it clears the fence by 10, 12, 15 feet. There's little doubt in Gary Thorne's mind as he calls the fly ball. Not like Canseco.
It's a home run. Tell Murphy that.
Yeah, but Canseco's, you have that thrill. Somebody that paid 75 cents to sit in the back row of the upper deck says, might I get one tonight?
Only when Jose's up. That one's off the handle to left field. Greenwell on the fly, gets there and puts it away. But a big 7th inning. 2 walks, 2 home runs, 4 runs in, and the A's are up by 6. The 1973 World Series Game 7, the Oakland A's and the New York Mets. The home runs have been few and far between for the A's, but Reggie Jackson, the MVP, would get one of them, and the A's would go on to win it 5-2. The question then in the 70s, was it a dynasty in the making? The question now, are the A's a dynasty in the making again? Jose Canseco said in spring training, I think the dynasty has already begun. Well, he may be right, because these A's look mighty powerful.
Well,
Gedman pitch hitting against Gene Nelson, who's come on to do the pitching for Stewart. Gedman batting for Kutcher, followed by Barrett and then Boggs. And Gene Nelson missing with it. 1-1.
29-year-old Gene Nelson might be the bullpen ace on a lot of other clubs, like the ERA. You know you're doing well when there's nothing to the left of the decimal point.
See the movement on that pitch? No wonder. That thing was in and out.
Well, this is sort of a poor man's Dennis Eckersley, basically.
Can be poor and still mighty good if that's who you're compared with. Look at the off-speed pitch, and Gedman, the pinch hitter, is gone. Gedman becomes a strikeout victim. Nelson starts it out with a K.
The fade, yeah. You'll see a lot of Eckersley in Nelson. He'll drop down. The ball has that running effect to left-hand hitters. There's Dennis, a rich man.
New contract.
And not a bad one either.
One away. First ball hitting. Barrett, Weiss, running throw. McGuire, 2 down.
A note about the play by Weiss. It's just another play in the middle of an 8th inning of another game. Oakland right now is about to complete another errorless game. They have made 6 errors in 22 games. That projects to a little less than 50 errors on the season. Baltimore was by far the best defensive team in baseball last year, and they made 87 errors.
The A's, of course, with those numbers, are number 1 in team defense.
Nobody ever mentions this club defensively, but it's a standout defensive baseball team.
Wade Boggs against Nelson with 2 down. That'll go to second. Gallegos got it. He'll make it over. That's the inning. 1, 2, 3. The A's up big, 8-2.
ESPN Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley has been helping people do things right. By the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, the American way to play. By HTH, America's clear choice for pool and spa care. And by Michelob Dry, bold taste with no aftertaste. Mick Dry refreshes completely.
Jerry Reed getting the first strike in on Walt Weiss. Stewart, 7 innings, 2 runs, 6 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Looking to go 6-0, and looking pretty good to get there with this 8-2 lead for Oakland. Clemens suffer his second loss, barring a big comeback by the Red Sox. Weiss taking Jerry Reed's pitch.
And we've likely seen the only inning that Gene Nelson will pitch tonight also. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach here, liking to keep his bullpen sharp, has the aging Mike Norris up and throwing. What a story he is.
Back in baseball. Weiss is gone. Reed, a couple of strikeouts. Red Sox are going to like what they're seeing out of Reed, and there is Mike Norris.
Now in his mid-30s.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Pitch hitting for second baseman Mike Gallego.
Gallego's going to come out of the game.
And Phelps.
Kenny Phelps is going to pinch it for Gallego, who had a 1-for-3 night.
Both managers making moves to try to keep people sharp here.
Tony La Russa, of all managers, been given great credit for keeping his entire bench in the ball games throughout the course of the season.
Wait a minute. Friday night, late in the game, Ken Phelps pinch hitting. Is this deja vu on ESPN?
Nah.
Phelps breaking up Holman's perfect game.
No question home run.
Out of here. A lukewarm fastball up above the belt. Oh, I bet you Brian Holman would love to have that pitch back.
1 out away from a perfect game. This guy broke it up. Fouled off on Reed's pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Top half of the 8th inning. The Red Sox had a run in the first and a run in the 5th. The RBIs to Evans and Heat, but nothing else off Stewart or Nelson for the inning that he's worked. The A's waited, then came on strong. Run in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, and 4 in the 7th. Popped up to shallow center field. Burks is on, and he will put it away in there at 2 down. The storyline of this game has been the power and the pitching. Great Oakland A's balance.
You know what's hard to believe about this game is 45 minutes ago, this was a nail-biter. This was a championship playoff level game that the A's have just blown the doors off.
They can do that. Stan Javier will pinch hit. Gave away my age on that one, and the pitch is up high for a ball. He's pinch hitting for Ricky Henderson. Henderson scored a run, went 1 for 3 and then an RBI. His performance tonight. Javier takes the pitch. 2 down, bases empty. If you're looking ahead, the Red Sox 9th, Reed, Greenwell, and Evans will be due up. Reed's pitch misses up high. The Red Sox players, seeing Reed in uniform for the first time, said, "You win." The most bold legs we have ever seen in Major League Baseball. They wanted to know how big the horse was that he rode in on. 3-0 is taken inside. 2-out walk given. Javier's on.
You know, the Red Sox, this isn't going to be a fun game to start their trip on. By the way, this will be the 13th loss in the last 15 games for the Red Sox in this stadium. But they've got to be pretty encouraged by Jerry Reed, who looks like he might be able to help them in middle relief, a spot they could use some help.
And he could be a spot starter, too. He used to be a starter earlier in his career. 2 down. Tag to left field. Greenwell started in, starts back, jumps. Oh, what a catch! Mike Greenwell misjudged it and then made up for it. Great play to haul it in off Carney Lansford's bat for the 3rd out. Saved another run right there. Take a look.
Lansford gets all of it and tattoos it toward the boards. Greenwell takes a step hesitantly over, then back. Terrific play.
Nice catch.
Welcome to This Week in Baseball.
He is an outstanding outfielder. Defensively, he was tied with Bo Jackson for assists for left fielders last year. Let's check in on our Baseball Tonight studios. John Saunders.
Well, Gary and Norm, it's 8-2 where you are. The A's well in command, but elsewhere tonight, the Seattle Mariners hosting the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles look to be in command. 6-4 lead. Mark Williamson on in relief, and Greg Briley takes him deep for a 3-run home run, just like that. The Mariners jump in front. 7-6 is the lead now. That game is in the 7th inning. It's now 8-6 as Alvin Davis has gone deep as well. So the Orioles, as I said, had the lead. They actually led 6-3 to start that inning. A 5-run scoring in the 7th inning for the Seattle Mariners. The Chicago White Sox had won 5 of their last 6 games coming in. They actually were the team trailing the Oakland A's, who you're watching. Great defense one. Raisin Edwards tosses to Ozzie Guillen, who makes a great play to flip it for the double. Then Wayne Edwards deflects this one over to Ozzie, who sidearms it, coming from the hip for the out. This time in Chicago's Gravik robs Willie Wilson. On to Scott Fletcher, gets the force. Bo Jackson then hits into the double play. Barry Jones to Carlton Fisk. To Carlos Martinez. 1, 2, 3 ends the 9th inning. That is one reason the Chicago White Sox have now won 6 of their last 7 games. Detroit beat Toronto. 3-1 was the final there as Lloyd Moseby came home where he played 10 years and had a home run. Lance Johnson with 2 runs batted in. White Sox over Kansas City. The Yankees up 5-2. It's now in the bottom of the 9th inning, and Baltimore is down to Seattle, as we said, 8-6. Right now, let's get it back to Oakland.
Take a look at what Mike Greenwell saw. Great catch.
Terrific catch. Meanwhile, coming in, one of the really wonderful stories, 35-year-old Mike Norris back in the major leagues. Hadn't won a game since May of 1983 when he won in relief earlier this year.
Jody Reed will lead it off against him, and it's up high for a ball.
This was once one of the great pitchers in the American League. This was once a 22-game winner in 1980. And then it all fell apart. Didn't pitch in 84, 87, or 88.
Javier has stayed in to play left field. Lance Blankenship for Gallego at second for the A's. To third, Lansford, hello. Either catch it or lose a kneecap.
Well, let's see. Greenwell robs Lansford. Lansford robs
Jody
Reed, and here comes Greenwell. Back to Norris for just a moment. Didn't pitch in 84, 87, or 88. In and out of cocaine rehab forever. Unsuccessful minor league stints in 85 and 86. This guy's life had fallen totally apart till the A's gave him one more chance.
Off home plate. So it's up to him now.
Yep.
Thank God for webbing. Ernie Lansford. One away. Base hit. Mike Greenwell gets his second hit, a 2 for 4. Already's extended his hit streak to 9, and he's on first with one away for Dwight Evans.
Gary, Mike Norris is very honest about what happened to him. This quote earlier this season after he won his first game. There are 3 things you can look forward to with cocaine: hospitalization, incarceration, and death. I've done 2 of the 3. The only thing left was for me to die. That's the next step. It's the only way out of the misery, the madness.
Or you can pitch.
Or you can pitch.
I like this choice better than the other one.
You've got to believe at 35, he never thought he'd get another chance to pitch in the big leagues.
Credit the A's with that. Willing to do that. That's part of the A's organization. Sandy Alderson, the GM, and the senior Haas and his son, the owners, to give Norris the opportunity. 2-0 Evans. Really fooled on that one.
You know, you look around this team, though, and how many people here have resurrected careers in this place?
Successfully.
Passy. Terrific. Eckersley.
Evans, he's going to pick up a base hit. Javier over to get it. And the Red Sox not going to go quietly as they get a couple of singles off Mike Norris here in the 9th inning. 2 on, 2 down. Tony Pena coming up. I want to remind you, next Friday, Norm and I will be in Seattle at the Kingdom. The Mariners will be taking on the Yankees, 10:30 Eastern. That'll be the second game of our doubleheader next Friday night from Seattle. So we'll see you there. One away. 8-2 lead for the A's. Runners at first and second. See Tony Pena's numbers. A couple of strikeouts here tonight. A tough luck line drive double play. Greenwell at second. Evans at first. Chris Fowler and Montgomery will be coming along on SportsCenter here on ESPN. The Knicks trying to even the score with the Celtics. Campbell Conference. The National Hockey League playoffs continue. They'll have the highlights from Major League Baseball today and the Kentucky Derby. A look ahead. The Derby tomorrow.
Not far ahead.
All coming up on SportsCenter. That's next right here on ESPN. Norris with a breaking ball missing. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Norris made it all the way back, earned a spot on the club, and there's Dennis Eckersley getting loose in the bullpen just in case. He said the one thing he wondered about was how would the crowd treat him. And when he relieved April 11th, this place erupted for him.
Sports fans don't let the heroes go easily and are very inclined, and I guess appropriately so, obviously, to welcome back with the hope that it's for real, that the hope those who are recovering in these kind of situations are in fact recovering successfully, and that it'll go on that way.
Boy, the staff he was a member of. Remember the predictions for him? Rick Langford, Matty Keogh, Brian Kingman.
Cover of Sports Illustrated.
Oh.
Rounded towards second base. Long run for Blankenship over to McGuire. 2 down. Tony Pena grounding out. Runners move up to second and third. But there are 2 away. The Oakland A's 1 out away from extending their win streak to 5. And the Red Sox starting the 12 games on the road with a loss here, and a tough one for their ace Roger Clemens, who's going to go 4-2, and Stewart's going to go 6-0 for the A's. No save involved here. Nelson worked an inning, got all 3 batters he faced. Right up. Ooh, that hit off Norris. Langsford over to get it. A run's going to score, and there's no play. That'll be an infield single. Ellis Burke's second hit and an RBI to make it 8-3, but more importantly, Nelson all right, and he is. Greenwell scores.
And Norris really got dinged by this. He's mad at himself for not catching the ball, but this was a hot shot.
That hurt me.
You know, I forgot one other pitcher on the A's staff. Steve McCatty was part of that staff, too, that terrific young staff. But that was one of the criticisms of Billy Martin, that he overpitched some of those people and their arms fell off, basically.
Yep. There's Bill Buckner standing in, trying to keep it alive here in the 9th inning, as the Red Sox now with 9 hits. Still trailing by 5. Evans has moved over to third. Buckner's bunting for the base hit and fouls it off. Pat Lansford playing back.
The ankles must be better if Billy Buck's bunting for a base hit.
Or Lansford's in shallow, or Carney Lansford's playing shallow left field to do that.
Billy Buck, the answer to the trivia question, what active player has the most hits?
There he be.
Bill Buckner. This guy's got over 2,700 hits. What kind of career might he have had if he had good ankles, Gary?
Outstanding hitter. I mean, there's never been any question about that for Buckner. Runner goes, grounded foul. Tried to send Burks down to get into scoring position. A lot of the crowd is left. 43,894 on hand here in Oakland. Seeing their A's with an 8-3 lead. 1 out away from wrapping it up. Sports Center's coming along next to bring you up to date on the day in sports. Fans up. 2 down, 2 strikes. Buckner, that's it. It's over. Norris gets the strikeout. The tag put on by Steinbach, and the Oakland A's go 17-5. The Red Sox 12-10.
The House of Horrors continues for Boston. They lose here for the 13th time in the last 15 games. Roger Clemens still has never won in this place, but the final score is deceiving. This was a wonderful game for 6 innings.
And then the A's big bats got going, and Tony La Russa's ball club used the homers, 3 of them, to come away with a victory. For Norm Hitzges, this is Gary Thorne. Thank you for joining us here for the second game of